But yeah.
Let us know what you think. Hello, hello.
Swore up and down it was Ronald Logan.
All right. People are slowly coming in here. Welcome, everybody. Hello, hello. Chat is weird tonight. Everything is going slow. It's super strange. I was noticing that.
That's weird.
Hello, Annie.
Yes. Hi, Ann. Hey, Michael.
King of the chat. Zonia, hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome, welcome, everybody. All right. Let's see what we got going on. So what do you guys think about you had to close it and reopen it? Yeah. Like on our videos, it's not showing how many people are watching correctly. It's not sending stuff through the chat correctly. It's acting super strange. Even right now. I don't know what's going on. But I will give it just a little bit of time while people come in here. All right. Hang on. Let me see if 2 hours. Okay. Okay. I know, too close to the truth. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Brendan. This is ThoughtRiotPodcast, and we are hosting the True Crime Talk Show. And we're super stoked everybody's here. I don't think everybody was able to make it from over on the premiere. It looks like, if these numbers are correct of who's watching, but they've been off all night, so there could be a whole bunch of more people in here than we even realize. The stream is just, I don't know, acting funky tonight, but hopefully it fixes itself and clears up. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in so it lets people know that we're live, and we appreciate you for that. And we will start digging into it. But I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how anyone could dispute that video, in my opinion. Right here. Hang on. Look, okay, so the person, what we theorized last time, and hello everybody, J Ray, Casey.
Oh, Casey's got the light bulb now.
Yeah.
I bet you guys can't see it, but that black line in it is a number 1. It's just so tiny. I didn't expect it to look. I don't know. It's so tiny.
Yeah.
I might change it around a little bit. It'll still be a light bulb though.
Yes, live chat, not top chat. That's for sure.
What do you guys think month 3 should be? Let me know your suggestions for month 3.
Yes, we're gonna make the crown for Michael. We're gonna make it some kind of military-ish, king-ish blend.
If he wants it military.
He does. That's where I got it from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he wanted a military helmet, and maybe we could.
Emote?
Yeah. I forget what it's called. What's it, a flak helmet, or I don't know. Correct me, Michael. I forget what those helmets are called. But he wants it. So I suggested a crown for King of the Chat, and he wanted it to be Kevlar. Yes, the Kevlar helmet. That's right.
Okay.
So I was thinking of a way that we could blend it. You know what I mean? Where other people could see it and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a crown," for King of the Chat, but still have it represent some kind of military. So I didn't know if maybe we could get a helmet that like had a crown on top of it. You know what I mean?
I can do it.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm still having a hard time with the honker though, J Ray.
Yeah.
Your tattoo's the same way. Yeah, I don't know. I can't make the honker yet. Haven't figured it out.
We'll get it all figured out and going. But this evidence is crazy, you guys. I don't know how anyone could watch this video and think that this isn't the same person. Like, okay, so just the things I'm pointing out here. Bridge guy, I don't know who was on here when we first started talking about it, but Bridge guy, I noticed there was something wrong with his knee. You can tell from the step that he's walking with a limp on this part of his knee, right? His right knee right here. It's just a slight limp, barely. And if you look at right here on his jeans, it almost looks like he was bent down and it's like a little bit of dirt or mud or something like that. There's some discoloration right there. So it made me wonder, did this person fall that day and they're walking with a limp, or they might just have a knee injury? Now, when you look at this one here separate, you can see a wobble, which makes me think that it is a long-term knee injury. So normally when you have an injury, like I have my shoulder, my spine, my knees aren't that bad, but a little bit. When you're using that joint, it's weak. The muscles are weak around it. So you see wobbling, and it literally wobbles and people's knees go out of place. Their shoulders come out of socket. And you can see both of those things happening in these videos. Now, when you're looking at his head, the angle at which he's looking down, it's identical. It is identical.
Yeah, the way
his hands, what Michael said.
It's the posture of his body along with that knee thing. I notice it too. And the shoulders. The shoulders too, the way they curve. I dislocated my knee in high school and was bedridden for a while, but I still have issues with it. And you're right, it makes all the muscles around the knee weak. I limp sometimes. He has a very rounded upper body posture right here in the shoulders. It's very round right here, and that's not that common. I don't think mine is rounded when I'm walking. It's more squared off. His is literally round. Yeah. Like, I forget what those muscles are right here, but he must have those back muscles built up a little bit to have that round looking posture in that way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. All right, so check it out here. Tell me that is not the same. Look at the knee. The traps, right, Michael? Look, the wobble. And you don't see it on the left. You actually see a little bit of a limp on that right when he's walking that you don't see on the left. Look. And you see that same thing here. Bam. 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 Hi, Madison. No, I did not dye my hair darker. My highlights are growing out and lack of sun. I'm getting paler by the day. And my hair gets darker in the winter. Look at his head down. Like, to here is This is all natural color. This is highlighted.
The way he's holding his arms, the roundness of his body, his head is angled down in the same angle. This person I think it's him, but
you should play it through once.
I have already.
Oh, you did?
I have been this whole time. Yeah.
I thought you paused on it.
No. So it looks like this person was on their knees.
Yeah, and you can't see it in this video, but in some better quality ones, you can see he has a rip in his jeans too, which you pointed out to me that I never noticed before.
Right there.
Yep, that leg right there, he has a rip on the side of his jeans.
Yeah, I think the torso looks longer on the right because he's not wearing a fanny pack. This right here is a fanny pack.
And he did own a fanny pack, and I didn't answer to you in the video how I knew that. It was because of the search warrant.
No way.
They listed he had a fanny pack. So yeah, his physique and size match perfectly.
Yeah, who was it? Madison? I think
Michael.
No, what Madison was saying is I think the torso looks longer on the right, and that's a good catch because of the fanny pack. You know what I mean? If you look at where the waist is.
And his coat is bunched up on the left, and on the right it's not.
Because look at the difference in crotch room here, right? So those
are baggier jeans, though, on the left.
I mean, are they?
Yeah.
It's going to be harder to tell because these are tucked into a boot.
Yeah, that's true, too.
So the way he's going to move his feet, the way that it's tucked in, you can see bunching right here. And this person is not in boots, but wearing a fanny pack.
You know, I watched someone analyze down to the pixels the bridge guy video, and they said the hat that he's wearing in that video looks just
this hat.
It is that hat.
Yep.
That's what he said in the video.
They did. Everyone's thinking it's one of those. Here, I'll pull one up. Everyone's thinking that it's one of these hats, but that's just the way that the shadows are making it look. Based on the video we were watching, they said that this right here, this definition in line, is the bill of a hat. It is not straight down.
Hey, Ian, that's okay. Glad you let us know. Have a good time with your fam.
And when they were... Yeah, that's okay. When they were looking at this, they showed that the bill... Oh, man.
What did you do?
I have no idea.
What the heck? I've never seen it do that before. Why don't you put it in slow-mo? Like all the way down.
Yeah. Look.
Oh, I saw the bill right there.
Yeah, you can see the bill.
Look, let's find a better quality version of the bridge guy video.
Okay.
The bridge is shady. From what I heard, you're not supposed to walk on that bridge. Locals just like to because it's very picturesque, but there's huge gaps in it. It's a very old. It's not super safe. It's not like they maintain it for people to walk on. One day somebody's probably gonna fall through a hole in it. one of the beams is going to break or something. Or wood planks.
Mm.
I would just search on YouTube bridge guy.
Okay.
There's lots that pop up.
Yes.
Oh, comparing size?
Oh.
Interesting. Is the quality better? Oh my gosh,
No.
that's so eerie. You're not sharing it?
Oh, he doesn't look the same size to me.
Huh? What do you mean?
That's a closer picture on the right. The person on the left looks way taller. The person on the right is Richard Allen. But that's Zoom, dude. Here, let me see if I can get it stopped on a good spot. And then let me figure out how I can prove how far away he is.
Because I so believed that this was Richard Allen in the beginning, I started to truly believe it. That looks like an old man there. That does not look like Richard Allen. Look at the face. Like, I feel like you can see like the sagginess of it. But isn't it strange how we have like basically a face-on video of this guy and still don't know who the heck it is?
Yeah, I think it's super strange.
What?
I think it's really strange. I don't get it.
And I kept just seeing Richard Allen in this video because I really believed it was him in the beginning. But now I have so much doubt because of the bullet. Like, finding out that evidence is kind of it's super shaky. Super duper shaky. Shakier than anything in Kohberger's case.
Hey, Violetta.
Hey.
So, dude, Richard Allen's way more fit than this guy.
Yeah.
Is that Richard Allen? Let me see if I can find a...
I don't know who that is.
Full... I think they took down all their social media and everything. Because they had a Facebook that that I was able to stroll on. Yeah. They zapped him.
Richard Allen looks awful.
Yes. I cannot find a pre-arrest full body picture.
Put Facebook. Richard Allen Facebook.
Okay.
And see what pops up.
Okay. Richard Allen Facebook.
Gosh, the results are even worse.
Yeah, they sure are. They sure are. Strange, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think we're on to something with the bridge guy being Ron Logan.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people out there too, that doesn't necessarily mean that Richard Allen wasn't involved either. You know, I feel like when we come up with contradicting evidence, or we come up with an idea just to dig deeper in, to critically think about, a lot of people take offense to that. Like, because we're looking into this, that means that this other person isn't the person. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Both could be true. Richard Allen could be guilty, and there could be a co-conspirator in this. And we just don't know all the details yet. For whatever reason, the FBI was sent out of here. And I find that super interesting, that the FBI had, they were going a completely different direction with the case, And they weren't welcomed based on everything that we were seeing. The police didn't want them there. Law enforcement didn't want them there. Once the FBI was out of there, the law enforcement went a completely different direction. That's strange. I think that's strange.
Yeah. So, one thing that Rumsey pointed out on Discord was something the prosecutor said at the press conference where they announced they made an arrest, and that was the arrest of Richard Allen. I wanted you to pull that up and watch it.
Okay.
Not just a part of it, not all of it. So look at Delphi press conference arrest.
Here?
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, there you go.
We will not discuss evidence that is related to this investigation. On behalf of the Delphi Double Homicide Task Force, thank you all for your continued support. I would now like to introduce to you our first speaker, Superintendent of the Indiana State Police, Doug Carter.
Is this who you wanted to hear?
No.
Was there a certain...
The prosecutor, not the police. So that's not him. Who is that, though?
I want to publicly and sincerely
Sheriff, I think.
thank each
Right? Yeah, that's Sheriff.
Let them go to the part where they introduce him.
individual
Though.
who played a role.
I want to know his
Where's your marks?
name. I don't remember his name.
And as importantly, who we all should be.
That's the
I would
prosecutor.
now like to introduce to you my friend and the Carroll County Sheriff, Tom Ledgeby, for his remarks. Sheriff.
Who?
I have no clue. Let's
Ledgeby?
see.
Just go to the prosecutor.
Okay.
I believe in a God of justice and
Whoa, we're going to church, baby.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Nicholas McClellan. I'm the Carroll County prosecutor. And before we get started, I want to reiterate some of the things that Sheriff Lesenby and Superintendent Carter stated. I first want to thank both of them. They've been a great support to my office throughout this investigation. They've always been there for a phone call and always been willing to help a hand or a line of assistance to me and my office during this investigation. I want to thank the team behind me. This is the Homicide Task Force team that we've put together. Thank them and thank their families for being so understanding for the many nights they've worked away from their families, away from their children. There are many dates in a lifetime that you're going to remember.
Just seems like he had something to hide at one
children
point.
are born, the date you're married, the date you buy a first house, the date Abby and Libby went missing. One of those dates was last Friday, October.
I think a lot of people are feeling that way just because a lot of the inconsistencies too, we've said this quite a few times where a lot of times it's reality tends to land somewhere in the middle, where when you have a case that is presenting with a whole bunch of holes in it, a whole bunch of issues, there's inconsistencies, things aren't making sense, stuff isn't lining up, people start having questions. People start asking, what the heck is going on here? I don't understand. Hey, Fred, what's going on? Welcome. People want to know what's going on. They want to understand, and I feel like that leads people to fill in those gaps with the unknown, and the unknown is always scarier than what reality is. So I feel like it's easier for the general public to go real far out, with some of those theories, ideas, or whatever. Do I think it's possible that there's a cult? Sure. I think anything is possible, honestly, in this situation. Do I think it's possible that Richard Allen's innocent? Sure, I think that's a possibility. Do I think it's possible that he's guilty and equally involved and has co-conspirators? Absolutely. I think any of those things are possible. The big thing we're missing here is the evidence. And I think that with figuring out who Bridge Guy is, I feel like there's something there. Multiple FBI officers believed that Ronald Logan was involved.
Yeah.
Based on that statement, which we will pull up here in a second, they believed that Ronald Logan was involved. Okay. So the FBI's success rate is a lot higher than a small town police department, well, this is Indiana State Police. So they have more experience than just a small town police department. It's also the sheriff's department. So I guess I should take that back. But they don't have the same kind of technological advances for doing research into these crimes that the FBI does. So when you're working directly with the FBI, you have specialists in almost everything that you're looking into. You know what I mean? Oh, you need a tech person? Hang on, let's get Cast. Oh, you need a DNA person? Hang on, let me get my DNA specialist. You know what I mean? And so the likelihood of that evidence being correct has a much higher likelihood.
Yeah.
And a trial date of March 20th, 2023 at 9 a.m. He is presumed innocent.
Absolutely. You're right.
We will have an opportunity and day in court when we can present the evidence that we have against him. But until that day, he is presumed innocent. I want to open up to a few limited questions from the audience. But again, keep in mind, we are not going to talk about the evidence that we have in this case or about the charging information. We cannot. Those things have been sealed by the court. And so I want to open up a few questions.
Prosecutor, when did Richard Allen become a suspect? And do you think he acted alone?
Again, that's part of the investigation, so I'm not going to talk about those things. What I can say is that we have probable cause established by the court for his arrest, and he is in custody. He's being held currently without bond. I'm sorry? Again, that gets into the evidence we have of the investigation, and I know from everybody it's frustrating. I know everybody, not only reporters, but the family, everybody wants to know more information. I understand it's frustrating, but my goal is to maintain the integrity of this case.
Hold on. There's a part where he talks about the gag order.
Who? The prosecutor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me? And so that's why we keep the tip line and the tip.
I want to hear that.
Yep. Go ahead.
We haven't closed the door on the investigation. And so that's why we keep the tip line and the tip email open. And so we're not presuming anything at this point, but we're going to continue to take tips, continue to take any information anybody has. And as we've done with all the information we've gathered, we're going to look at that and examine that and see where it leads us.
Right here. I'm pretty sure it's this question.
October 31st, 2022. And there's some new documents that have come out too that we're going to pull up. We'll get into the document stuff here just in just a second too, that I think can help confirm the possibility of Ronald Logan being Bridge Guy. Now, it goes back to, it doesn't mean he was the only one. It doesn't mean Richard Allen's innocent. That doesn't mean anything like that. But I do think that it supports the theory that he could be involved.
This is not regular. Usually a public hearing is held. We should be able to see all the documents, right?
Sure.
Sure. Made a decision to explain your decision as to why you believe that maybe for the next 30 days, no one in this room should have access to those records.
Sure. It is unusual. We don't do it very often in all the cases that we handle here in Carroll County. We did it in this case because the investigation is still open. And while all cases are important, the nature of this case has some extra scrutiny with it. And so my office felt it was important to seal those records. There will be a public hearing on whether or not those records are going to remain sealed or not. There'll be public notice for that hearing so that everyone can attend, but there will be a hearing to determine whether or not they're going to stay sealed. But for now, to me, it's about protecting the integrity of this case. I want to have an opportunity at some point to have an opportunity in court to explain the evidence and for that not to be tarnished or tainted or anything like that. Again, he's presumed innocent. And so it was important for me in this case to do that.
Pause.
Yeah,
How can telling everyone your evidence tarnish? So he just doesn't want it scrutinized. He doesn't want anybody asking questions because he wants to be the first person to say this information to the court, so then it can't be
refuted.
refuted.
No. I think that's a good thing to point out. And I also think that that is the big issue that we see in a lot of these cases where
Double speak. Do we have an echo, Michael? Are you guys hearing an echo? I know the audio for that press conference was pretty bad, but
yeah, I don't think I have anything else open.
and this I don't hear anything. And this press conference was right after Richard Allen's arrest. He was double speaking. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He was.
Yep. So, it goes back to what we keep seeing in some of these smaller towns, this idea that the evidence needs to be hidden. I personally don't understand that, but understand that I also grew up in a heavily populated area. I grew up in a metropolitan area, and I feel like when you grow up in a metro area, you deal with law enforcement in a different way, where all cases, everything is almost always open to the media, to scrutiny, to whatever, because that's how metro areas are ran. But then you have places like Moscow, then you have places like Delphi, and they are closing that information to the public, thinking that letting the public in and seeing that evidence could potentially taint it. To me, it doesn't make sense. And the reason why it doesn't make sense is because the evidence is based on a past situation. There's nothing that we can do to change that past situation. There is nothing that can be changed. It either is what it is or it isn't, and there's nothing else it could be. It sounds so simple, but then why gag it?
Yeah, I just don't like that. I understand it to an extent. I think there's a way of keeping certain things under wraps but letting the public know why this person is connected to this crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like
do.
they literally didn't answer a single question. He just explained why it's important to him that he be able to present the evidence first.
Yeah.
To the court.
Yeah.
Not to the public. It was all about his personal belief, which I don't know. It just felt shady to me.
No, it does. It does. And honestly, I personally believe that if you're a prosecutor and you're charging someone with a crime, that person should be able to have a say in it if the evidence is public or not, right? Because our justice system was built around this idea that it is a town square, and you're put on trial in front of your peers and determined whether the evidence shows that you're guilty or innocent. And when you slap a gag order on it, obviously you're betraying that. In my opinion, the gag order should only be used in a situation where you're putting risk of the country, essentially, and I personally, and people might not like this, but I don't advocate for gag orders or hiding information, even when it throws a victim's name in the hat. I still don't think that's okay, just because we're all citizens here. And part of being a citizen is dealing with our justice system. And if you don't like that system, you have the choice and ability to leave, go to a different one. But as long as you're here, I think that that's part of being a part of society here. You know what I mean? Because you can't step all over somebody else's rights to try and hide a victim of a crime,
Yeah.
Hold on just a minute. We're not going to comment on that right now as part of the investigation.
I know, ZJ,
Again,
you're
we just
right.
encourage everybody to continue to
What?
call in tips if they have them about anybody.
Pause. So C-Star, will you highlight her comment?
Yeah.
The William and Peggy Stevenson murders are crazy. Have you looked into those at all?
I haven't.
So William and Peggy Stevenson were murdered in Florence, Kentucky. He was a preacher, and they had like a truck stop church, basically. I believe it was in like a trailer or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but they were murdered in that little trailer, and there was a lot of talk and like it's really strange that they thought it was like a cult killing, like bodies posed and
Really?
things. Yeah, I can't remember all the details, but it's worth covering. And I did watch like a documentary type thing on it. I forget who it was by, but I remember thinking, wow, that was odd.
Yeah.
Here, let me see what the details were real quick
Okay.
about
We'll examine those tips.
And here,
the
let me-
bodies. So it happened 12 years ago.
That's a hard question to answer. It's a mixed emotions. I've been watching the news all weekend like everybody else has, and I think a lot of the members of the public said it right. It's bittersweet. It's a step in the right direction. It's concerning that he's a local guy. So I think just different emotions. Again, this is a step in the right direction. This is the first step into getting into court and having a trial. And so.
All right. That concludes our press conference today.
Okay, so we have this paperwork here, which was gathered by Murder Sheet and
Murder Sheet podcast. Yes.
yes, Murder Sheet podcast, and it's super good. They cover primarily the Delphi case, right?
Huh?
They cover primarily the
they do.
Delphi case.
They do.
Okay.
Yes, Florence, Kentucky, right, Michael?
So FBI, this is an FBI agent, you guys. Nicole Robertson swears or affirms that she believes and has good cause to believe evidence of a homicide is located in the residence of Ronald Logan, located at Delphi, Indiana, situated in the county of Carroll, in said state, which is described as a white two-story single-family dwelling situated in the county of Carroll, in said state, including the detached garage, outbuildings, or a white F-250. States as follows. I am Nicole Robertson. I am special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and have been employed as such for 12 years. Prior to her employment as an FBI agent, Nicole Robertson was employed at Sauk Village, Illinois police officer as a Sauk Village, Illinois police officer for approximately 6 years. So what is that? 12. So almost 20 years, almost 2 decades of experience. Nicole Robertson is assigned to the Merrillville Resident Agency and currently participates in the investigation of all violent crimes. So on February 13th, 2017, at approximately 1 p.m., juvenile victims hereafter referred to as LG and AW were taken to the Mononhigh Bridge Trail located in Delphi. And we're walking, we know that part, yes. So, which was the time of the last contact by cellular device. The victims were to be picked up by a family member. Got it. So, a suspect has been developed of a white male wearing a blue jacket with a heavy physical build, wearing a cap and blue jeans. The development of the suspect was made by a 43-second video. 43 seconds. So I think that's important because we're only seeing just a very small snippet, you guys. And one thing that I wanted to point out is I've seen a lot of people out there who have talked about that video and said that, hey, the audio doesn't line up. Now, I think it's important to note that, yes, the audio probably doesn't line up because it is 2 snippets taken together and put together and then released for the general public. So I don't think that we're going to get that whole video. I would love to see it, though. I would love to see it. I hope that they let out the entire 43 seconds. And remember, the FBI saw the entire 43-second video taken on the phone. After seeing the entire 43-second video on the phone, they thought it was Ronald Logan, you guys. They believed it was Ronald Logan.
Yeah.
So here, hang on. I wish I could easily... Oh, wait, can I show 2 screens? For everyone, just... All right, one more time. We'll go through that, right? Tell me what you guys think. Remember, this video is 43 seconds long.
The bridge guy video.
Yeah. Even the swaying of the body, you guys.
Yeah, the way his body sways side to side when he walks. His toes even point outward a tiny bit when he walks.
I know.
A tiny bit.
I know. I'm telling you, it is too good. I don't believe that this video is Richard Allen. That doesn't mean that Richard Allen's not guilty in this or complicit in this.
You know, somebody close, supposedly.
But this height looks the same. What Gray put out, Gray Hughes, ton of respect to Gray Hughes, but what Gray Hughes put out, in my opinion, that was 2 different height people. One was closer.
Yeah. So, somebody put on Facebook around the time Richard Allen was being heavily looked into by people on the internet and the news and the media and everything. They wrote something on Facebook saying that Richard Allen would never walk on that bridge, that he's terrified of it. Ron Logan, I mean,
Really?
was terrified of the bridge.
Really?
Yeah. So I've thought about that. Like, was that Ron Logan wanting to put that out there to make himself look innocent? Like,
right.
he's afraid of heights? Is there anybody else who can confirm he was afraid of heights?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know what to think about that.
Hey, Regina. So that's Ronald Logan in the right-hand side of that video.
Right. And Ronald Logan is the man that owned the property that the girls were found on.
Yes.
And we are reading the search warrant of his home.
Yeah.
And we think that the bridge guy in that video, the way he walks, the way he holds his body, the way his body is shaped,
Truth.
all of it, it looks like him. Even the hat. We watched some analysis of the down to the pixels, and
Yes.
this person also believed, which they're like an expert in, analyzing pixels. They believed it was the same hat that he was wearing when he was doing these media interviews.
Yes. Yes. Same color, same everything.
Well, even the emblem on it, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wanted to see. I met Damien Eccles and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to read Regina's comment.
Oh. So, a suspect has been developed of a white male wearing a blue jacket with a heavy physical build, wearing a cap and blue jeans. The development of the suspect was made by a 43 second video taken on LG's phone where the suspect follows the victims as they are walking on the Mononhai Bridge. Near the end of the video, the suspect speaks to the victims saying down the hill. It sounds as though he is directing the victims to leave the trail they were on and enter the wooded area below. No person has come forward and identified himself as the person who met the victims and made the statement in LG's video. Therefore, it is believed that the person in LG's video participated in the killings. Images of the suspect have been broadcast on the news media since February 15, 2017 as a person of interest. The girls made contact, 2:13. On February 14th, were found dead, yes, with wounds caused by, I'm assuming that's bladed weapon, on the property owned by Ronald Logan. A large amount of blood was lost by the victims at the crime scene because of the nature of the victims' wounds. It is nearly certain the perpetrator of the crime would have gotten blood on his persons or clothing. The location of the crime is approximately 1,400 feet from Logan's residence.
So to put that in perspective, how far is that really? It's like mile converted to miles. Is that even a full mile?
No, I don't think it's a mile. No, not even close.
So it's like a fourth of a mile?
Yeah, at best. At best.
So it's like a quarter of a mile. So that's really close.
Yes. It is extremely close. It's less than a quarter of a mile.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, no, it's literally a quarter of a mile. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is right at a quarter of a mile. So I think a quarter of a mile is 1,300 and some change. And they're saying approximately 1,400 feet. So yes, it is right there at a quarter of a mile, which if you guys think about it, right, most physical education courses in high school, when you run around a track, it's usually around a football field once is a quarter of a mile. So just, make that a straight line. It's not very far.
No.
You would be able to hear a scream.
No, I can run a mile, jog a mile, and I'm pretty slow. I'm not that fast in 12 minutes.
Yeah.
13 minutes.
You would be able to hear a scream.
So a quarter of a mile, that's not far.
Yeah, that's nothing. It is nothing.
So another thing to mention here is, I forget her name. I'll have to look her up in a second. She is a reporter who did an interview with Logan sometime right after the murders for HLN. After him not wanting to. It might not have been right after, because he did a bunch of media interviews, and then there was a time where he wouldn't do any because his son was like, hey, you need to stop. You're not looking too good on the news, and people are questioning you. So he stopped and was super against the media, and then she convinced him to give her a tour of his property and do an interview. And she said there was this impression of him that he was this frail old man, so he couldn't have done this because of the terrain. It's really rough. It's really hilly. And he was pretty old. Well, she said when they did the tour, where he walked them around and showed them his property, and took them to the site, to the crime scene, he got up and down those hills great.
Yeah.
Like, super well, to the point that he was literally like holding her hand and helping her up and down hills. She was like, he was not a frail old man. He was strong and he could get around super, super well. He used to break horses. He was an active older man.
Yeah. I was trying to find,
there you go.
Yep. Okay, so hang on.
Yeah, old man strength. Exactly, Michael.
Who'd ever think someone would be?
That is the hat, too.
Look at him.
I'm pretty sure.
Murdered in your backyard.
Ron Logan owns a property where the bodies
I
of
need to
Libby
see the front
German
of it,
and Abby Williams were found. Just days after their murder last month, Logan spoke with local
Look at that.
reporters.
A double homicide. This is the first.
Today, Logan's
that's the
property
hat.
was back in the spotlight, this time crawling with investigators who have a warrant to search his home, shed, anything he owns. As part of the search, Logan's car was towed.
This crime happened more than a month ago, and now you search his home. Why so long?
This isn't the first dealings that we've had with Mr. Logan. We have spoken with him throughout this entire investigation. We investigate these things, new information comes forward, and that new information leads us to further the investigation.
Logan is already in police custody on a parole violation. Sources tell CBS 2 he was arrested for drunk driving. Sergeant Perrine says he doesn't know if Logan had a personal relationship with the girls or their families.
Indication of what you're looking for?
Any evidence that would lead us to believe that A, he's either connected to this crime, or B, he's 100% not connected.
Police stress Logan is not a suspect. He's part of the investigation that includes following up on more than 13,000 tips.
How
the
could he
search for
not
this
be a
man,
suspect?
The photo
They
taken by
never-
German before she died.
Do you think that the man in the photo could be Logan?
You know, the man in the photo is a middle-aged white male, and Mr. Logan is also a white male. So at this point, we can't verify one way or the other.
What? He said that
It's shady.
was double speaking.
Yeah.
Okay. That was like, no, it's a middle-aged white male, but he's also a white male, but we can't confirm anything.
Yeah, it was.
What is that? And I don't understand how he was never officially labeled a suspect. Yet, you know why he was in jail? He felt like he was a suspect the whole time, and he felt like they got him on that parole violation to keep him locked up because he was a suspect. So if that is true, to where they locked him up to keep him off the streets because they thought he might have done this, then clearly, and they do that all the time, like the supposed Portland serial killer, Jesse Calhoun.
Yeah.
They got him on violations. He was not charged in the girls' murders.
That is
They did
so
it to keep him off the
strange.
streets because he was a suspect.
So strange.
I cannot understand why they didn't label him as a
We
suspect.
appreciate that, Regina. I don't think it came through though. I don't see it on here. Malia will triple check though. Just hang tight. But thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can you not call him a suspect? I don't get it, dude. Look, okay, so again, this is not shots fired at Gray Hughes. We love Gray Hughes. The technology investigations that he puts together are incredible, man. But that video where he has a picture of the back of Richard Allen against this photo right here that's on the left-hand side, right? Though the Richard Allen photo is way too close. The perspective is not right in that photo. Now, when you look at these two guys are the same height.
To be able to know the height, I would need somebody to go stand at that part of the bridge and use the zoom from where they suspect Libby was standing.
I wish I had like a ruler.
And then know how tall that person is and then compare it. That's what I feel like I would need to do.
I wish I had a ruler, because what you could do is you can pick the center of the body and measure from waist to head or waist to foot. It's all theoretical. So there's nothing exact about it, but you could do that and get an understanding of what their dimensions are of their body.
Here, I got it.
Oh.
Regina, I don't see your super chat. It didn't come through, unfortunately. I hope it didn't charge you.
Yeah, I hope not.
Thank you very much, J-Rod. We appreciate that.
Yeah, welcome.
You know, I still see some Richard Allen in it myself. We just don't know. But there are a lot of things here that we can point to that really make us think it could possibly be Ron Logan.
Yeah.
Hi, Liz.
I'm sold on Ron Logan because of the walk. That is what has me sold on it. Is once I put these two videos side by side, you guys, I just have a hard time not thinking this is the same person. They both have a right knee injury. You can see it when they walk. Watch this. But understand, here's a really big point too, okay, is this video does not 100% mean that this person was involved in the crime. Now, does it seem obvious they're involved in the crime? Yes, I'm not saying it doesn't seem super sus, right? And I think the smart decision is to assume the person in this video is part of the crime. But I just am throwing out the possibilities and theories out there, right? That it could be one person involved. It could be two. It could be 5 people. We don't know yet because there wasn't enough evidence in this case. They claimed there was no DNA left there to match to a suspect. The only piece of evidence that we have was this video right here. Could this video have been taken from somebody else, right? Somebody else that's keeping watch on the area? Could they have already had the girl's phone and been like, oh, you know what? This is a good idea. I'm going to take a picture of this random person walking across the bridge and then put it back in the girl's pocket. You know what I mean? Could there be a lookout? What's interesting to me is that so he's known for always being outside. Everyone said that. When Logan is home, he is outside. This crime happened less than a quarter mile away from his house, or right at a quarter mile away from his house. And for him not to know that, they have proof of a cell phone ping that he was connected to a tower, at least locally in this region, in this area. I tried to find proof. I couldn't find it. But that's super suspect, you guys. Like, that's a lot of evidence. No?
Yeah. Oh.
What?
Hi, Amanda. Hold on. I want to highlight Mike's comment. And Michael.
Hey, Dara.
No, I don't know who Thinker Thunker is. Is that a YouTube channel? I'm so sorry, Regina. You should totally see where's your comment? You said that it charged you. Hopefully you can get a refund.
Yeah.
But it could be a total plant, or if Richard Allen walked there all the time, carried a gun, it could have fell out his pocket. I don't know about on Ronald Logan's property, though. That's it. And the forensic, it's the ballistics, are really shaky on a bullet that wasn't fired. So, ZJ, it was not fired. It was just dropped, or like, what is it called?
Yeah, unspent. It's unspent bullet.
But it was
meaning,
in the chamber at one point.
Yep. Like when you cock a gun back, right? The what's that called? The hammer. When you pull the hammer back, it pulls that bullet from the not the clip, the whatever it's called, the mag. It pulls the bullet from the mag into the chamber and then releases it, and it tightens in there. So each time it moves from the metal into the chamber, it supposedly leaves markings on the shell. Then if you were to cock it back again, it opens that bullet up, and that bullet's sitting in the chamber and has the ability to fall out. So it would leave those markings, pull the hammer back, and that bullet could then fall out. Like that's how you can unload a gun. Like if you take a gun, you hold the trigger back and you cock it a bunch, it'll just shoot out unspent bullets and not fire.
Right.
And it leaves markings according to experts.
Right. But when guns used to not be produced in a factory, it was much easier. When they were handmade, they were much more distinct markings. Now that they're all made so precisely in factories, it gets harder.
Yes, I agree. I agree, Liz. I think this case is a hot mess.
Good to see you, Amanda. And yes, I agree with you too, Liz. And I know, C-Star. I know.
There have been a lot of issues with the FBI, you guys. A lot. I would never deny that. But this is one of those cases, and the Idaho 4 is one of those cases where I would get on my hands and knees and beg the FBI to come take control of these cases, you guys.
This comment. One is walking, trying to
Yeah.
avoid gaps in the railroad ties, and the other is walking on flat ground. BG
You're right.
videos do not show perp's natural gait.
You're right. No, 100%, Mike. 100%, you're right. I'm not concerned with the distance between the steps in this situation. I'm more concerned with how he's standing, where he's holding his arms, where his shoulders are, the angle his head is looking down when at his normal posture, and the fact that he has a right knee injury. Watch here. I'll play it while Malia's going through these.
Hi, Dara. And thanks for the suggestion, Michael. I'll go look them up.
Absolutely.
Right, Mike.
Yeah.
And you know, that's my speculation too with the gun.
Yes.
And you know, Ron
agreed.
Logan owned a gun that matched the bullet too. He owned several weapons.
Yep.
So we're punishing for thoughts, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Make this make sense. How was an old man sketch and video presented to the public, then out of nowhere a sketch of an 18 to 25-year-old? Like what? I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I think it's very possible because look, you guys, so
What's possible?
one thing that we always talk about, right, is we come out with these videos with these theories, and sometimes these theories cannot coexist. And I understand that. I understand they can't coexist sometimes, meaning that in order for one theory to be possible, this other theory that we presented on couldn't be possible. However,
Good night, Zonia.
yeah, good night, Zonia. And I didn't see anything come through, Regina. It's okay. I appreciate it.
This was her super chat. She tried like 5 times and it wasn't going through. Gotcha.
It
was what we just read.
Yeah. But where was I going with this? In this situation, I think that those two things could coexist. I think that Ronald Logan could be a part of it and somebody younger could be a part of it. And my big question was, because based on the crime scene evidence that we're being told by the defense is factual, if those sticks on the body and the way the bodies were laid out in a V, and then with the sticks on top of it with a VL for Vinlanders, there was some sort of gang affiliation in this, right? So could Ronald Logan have been a part of this, and younger guys that are more focused on the gang crime affiliation and, putting in work essentially is what I'm trying to say. These younger guys that are putting in work. It's totally possible. I think it's totally possible. And just like we had that new document come out, you guys, where the prison guard literally admits to in his statement that, yes, I was wearing Odin patches. I did wear the I hate people patches, but then goes on to say in the same statement that I do not hate people, and I am not an Odinist. I am a, what did he say? Hang on here. I'll pull it up real quick so you guys can see.
He's a hedonist or something, or a heathen.
Amanda's here. Amanda, get this. This is so, to me, it's so ridiculous. Oh, why is it not letting me? Open with Google Chrome. There we go. Okay. Boom. Official statement. This is from Sleuthy Goosey, you guys. So shout out Sleuthy. She posted it on Twitter, and that's who underlined this. So I appreciate that. All right. So affidavit. And we have a video coming out about this, just a breaking news update. But Sergeant Randy Jones, correctional officer at Westfall Correctional Facility, which is part of Indiana Department of Correction, affirms and swears of the following. 1, that I am a correctional officer at Westfall Correctional Facility. 2, that I have been assigned to WCU unit of Westfall Correctional Facility since December 11th, 2022, currently assigned to B-Pod. 3, that I have been an acting supervisor in A-Pod where the defendant is housed since late February, early March. Now, here's the interesting part, you guys. Super interesting. I'm going to jump down to 6 real quick, and then we'll go back and do the other ones.
Go ahead.
That I started wearing the patches 6 or 7 months ago, and I did not stop wearing my patches until September 22nd of 2023 when ordered by my command to remove these patches. What's interesting is this is double talk too. We just were talking about double talk. This is the same thing. So he says that he's been watching Richard Allen since February, early March of 2023. I started wearing my patches 6 or 7 months ago. 6 or 7 months ago is February, early March.
Okay, so
do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. And so Richard Allen was arrested October 2022.
Yes.
Is it a coincidence? And there's a second affidavit for the other corrections officer too. Do you have that?
I don't.
Okay, so I don't know for sure when that guy started working there, but if they both started working there
exactly
at the
ZJ
same
or Gia, exactly
at the same time, okay, at the same time, right after this man's arrest, within 2 months of his arrest, and they start working there. Then they start supervising him. Was it on purpose? Did they see this guy get arrested?
I think you're missing the point. The point is they started wearing the Odin patches because they're watching Richard Allen.
I get that, but they're also started working there right after his arrest. He was arrested October 2022.
You mean he was promoted to acting supervisor right after?
No. Okay, he started working there December 11th, 2022. That was 2 months after Richard was arrested.
Oh.
So they put a plant in there 2 months later. Okay, this is all speculation.
Oh, and they made him a manager that quick?
And then within a few months, he's a supervisor and wearing the patches and supervising over Richard.
Oh. That's super sus, you guys.
Right after his arrest, he starts working there. Then he gets promoted to supervisor within a few months. And he's wearing the patches and literally watching Richard.
Yes, she is on it. She is on it. I was caught on the patches thing, but you're right. I think that's strange. I've been in corporate America my whole career life, you guys. I've always worked for large corporations, and correctional facilities are corporations. They run like corporations. Sure, the work's different, but they run like corporations. Now, nobody ever comes in and within, what is that? What was it, honestly? So February, let's just say March. Let's just give them as much rope as they can. So March, right? So December. So December, January. So December to January is 1 month. January to February is 2 months. So he was hired in December and a supervisor at the latest after 90 days of being hired.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh my gosh.
That does not make sense.
Oh.
That's really strange.
That is so messed up.
And supervising one of a defendant, okay, in one of the most high profile cases in the country within 2 months. And wearing these patches.
We should have done a video on this on Friday. I didn't even catch that.
Well, I didn't get to look at it.
I was more concerned with the fact that we're getting confirmation they're wearing patches. So everybody that's looking at this case and being like, oh, dude, they're just full of it. That's what a great technique, you know, for the defense to make it a conspiracy. If they're wearing patches, is it a technique? You know what I mean? Is it?
Oh, this is strange, you guys.
Because who in their right mind goes to work wearing a patch that says, I hate people?
I know.
What?
I know. It makes no sense. Who is the supervisor that promoted him? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Seems like they could have been recruited literally for this purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that I could come up with.
Right.
And the double talk in here too is obviously with the intention of covering this up. Instead of being like, oh, hey, I started watching Richard Allen in February, March, and I started wearing my Odinism patches in February and March. You know what I mean?
And Mike Applegate, I saw your comment. Everybody in that town does dress like Richard Allen and Ron Logan and all shop at Rule King. You're totally right.
I know. And I think Mike was in our chat one time when we were watching one of the videos where I made that comment about someone being bald and having a beard. And I think it was Mike who was like, dude, everybody there looks like that.
I told you that too. That's a normal look for that area.
Because you're bald and you have a beard does not mean that you're racist, but a lot of racists are bald and have beards. So you know what I mean? Obviously, you have Joe Rogan even who's bald and has a beard sometimes, and lots of other people. But it's a classic look for like
an older white man,
skinheads in the punk rock scene. They all have their suspenders on, bald heads, and beards, dude. It's strange.
That's true. So Cynthia, I'm not sure, but the guy on the right, Richard Logan, seems to have thinner legs than the guy on the left, Bridge guy. So one thing I will mention is on the right, the guy is wearing boot cut jeans that are tighter. They're more of a slim fit and they're tucked into a boot. Then the guy on the left is wearing like baggier jeans and they're over his shoes or boots, or you know what I mean? It's a different cut. Use Chrome. It's a different cut, and it's different. They're different, way different jeans. So it could appear that way. But she also said, here, let me see this. That Ron Logan appears to be slightly bow-legged as well. Well, I see someone who could be slightly bow-legged in the left too.
I do a little bit. I wish you guys he had on a similar type of cut pant there.
Yeah.
Man.
Thank you for your input, Cynthia, though.
Yes.
Because I definitely see what you're saying, but I think the jeans, and with how bad of the quality of the Bridge guy video, it's really hard to tell, which is why we still don't know who this guy is.
Liz, I hope they were let go. I don't think that's okay to have guards that are wearing I hate people patches. That's a problem, dude. I think that's a major problem.
Yeah, might as well wear swastika for real.
Agreed. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you, Mike. I think that gives the same kind of feelings and meanings, and they're both aggressive, you know. And the thing is too, it's not an angsty teenager that's looking for attention. Like I was one of those punk rock kids that wore super offensive stuff on my shirt. It has a much different feeling when you're looking at someone who doesn't have a fully formed frontal lobe wearing something offensive like that. But you have a full-grown man who is in a position of power, part of the justice system, wearing something so offensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I can't find anything saying that these officers were let go.
Yeah. Yeah, Malia was looking to see if we could find somewhere saying that they've been let go. I'm more curious of their background, you guys.
They've just been told not to wear them, not to wear the patches.
God,
I don't see anything about them being let go.
The damage is already done at that point, though. It's already done.
Yeah.
Here, I think I have the patches in this video, maybe. Let me see. I personally do not think it's a cult, you guys. Just to be clear here, I do not think that it's a cult. I think that it is a racist gang that we're dealing with. Personally, I think it's a racist gang, and I really need to cover the story of I think it was the four little black girls in the town next to Delphi. The Flora murders.
Fire.
And a lot of people that live close to that area believe that this crime was intentionally done to pull attention away from that crime, because that crime had involvement with someone that might be a leader in that gang or something of that nature. I'm not sure.
You know what's also messed up is they won't let Richard Allen is being held in a prison, and he hasn't even been convicted. And they won't.
It's for his safety, though.
After all of these allegations came out with the corrections officers, all they did was tell them to not wear the patches, and they won't allow Richard Allen to be moved. Like, if there's even allegations, and looking at his mental health decline, if there's even allegations of mistreatment, why not just move him or have different officers look over him?
Yeah.
I hope they're at least doing that.
This is one of the patches, right? So they were wearing "In Odin We Trust" and this right here. And what's funny is in this statement, you guys, look, here's the next funny thing here is number 4. I do not practice.
Oh my gosh, I fell. I was trying to plug this in and I fell.
I do not practice Odinism, and that Norse paganism, heathenry, is my practicing religion. But you guys, they had these on.
Yeah, they're saying they don't follow that specific
I
type.
know. We do need to clip it. But the thing is, they have "In Odin We Trust" on. That is a heck of a coincidence, in my opinion.
C-Star said they scrubbed their Facebook and LinkedIn pages. You're talking about the corrections officers? I bet they did, because when I looked up their Facebooks, you could tell that they indeed were Odinists.
Yep. And here's the other patch they were wearing right here. This exact one. I think Mike's right, man. You might as well just have a Swazi on.
Oh, Cynthia said she gets
Yes,
what I was saying.
Mike, a racist gang. So, if
She
you
said around here they're called the cops, or he said they're around here they're called the cops. You didn't even read the whole thing.
I was in the process of reading it, but yes, the Vinlanders. So
They're so widespread
here
that they very well could have connections in law enforcement. They could.
Yeah, right here. This video right here. We go into I know it says Delphi Odinist cult found, but this is all about the connection between Odinism and the Vinlanders.
It's a gang.
Yep. No, it's a known gang.
Like a criminal syndicate kind of thing. It's a organized gang where they've recruited all over the country.
Yeah. I do wear patches on my uniform that identify me as someone who practices Norse paganism heathenry. This is so insane to me. You know that they claim in here that every single time they encounter or interact with Alan, they supposedly record it.
Okay, you know what's super funny is right here. Oh man, it says the patches do not represent racism or hatred for anyone, but
It
one of
says,
the
"I hate
patches
people."
literally says I hate people.
I know.
What?
I know. I don't get it. I was also assigned periodically to check on the defendant at his door with his 15-minute checks implemented by his mental health plan. Strange, right?
Okay, but you don't need to do that when he's in there with his lawyer. You don't need to sit there with a
Well,
video camera.
they're literally not allowed to. They are not allowed to.
No, it's illegal.
Yes, right. I think there's major problems here. And do I think that it's equally possible that Richard Allen is innocent as he is guilty? Yes, you guys. I think it's equally possible that he could be involved and could be a problem for these guys, or he could not be involved and could be a problem for these guys.
Yeah, I don't think he's safe there, to be honest.
If I was Richard Allen, I would be doing everything in my power to get a camera on me 24/7.
Violetta, the Vinlanders are definitely a gang. Now, you could, if you looked into it deep, you could possibly classify them as a cult because they have a religious ideology. The only thing is cults isolate people. So you'd have to find that they do something that isolates people from like family and friends, and you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm really shocked they got away with it too. Really shocked. So where is that interview, C-Star? I have not found that. I'm gonna have to dig deeper. She said there was an interview with Patrick Westfall and he talked about pulling patches from members and indicated this was meant they were kicked out of the group. That would be a Vinlander thing.
Yeah,
they do patches.
They do patches
like bikers.
Correct. They do.
Oh yeah, we should, Mike. You're totally right.
Yeah.
That's
Liz,
a terrible situation though. Like my hearts go out to everybody over there that's dealing with, the war right now.
It's an awful situation.
It is
and
super
and not
awful.
even taking any sides anywhere. I just look at any situation and feel bad anytime there's a loss of life. In anything, because whether it's somebody that I agree with or don't agree with, they still have a family, and that family is going to hurt when there's a loss of life,
Yeah, and I don't think either side is right, if I'm being honest. But I think anytime you're going and hurting families like that, you're not in the right.
I'm not even going to comment on it. I don't want anything to do with it.
Liz,
it's too political.
Liz, I agree with you. They shouldn't be able to get away with wearing patches of any group, religion, or anything.
Agreed.
They should not be able to do that.
I agree. That's what I've said, the same thing from the start too, Liz, that I don't understand how they even did it one day. How? What kind of control do you have in this correctional facility where you're allowed to walk in or feel like, or do you have the confidence that you have that much power? You can walk into your work wearing a patch that says, I hate people.
Thank you, C.
What?
Thank you, C-Star. If you don't mind, email it to us, please. And then maybe we can pull it up if you find it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I just don't get it. I don't get it. So our next step is going to try to find some kind of connection to these guys and Ronald Logan. I feel like that would make a lot of sense to me,
I put the email in the chat as well.
Yeah, Mike, in a situation like that, I feel like it's a little bit different because a cross necklace could be tucked into your shirt. You know what I mean? So I think if these guys wanted to wear like an Odin hammer around their neck on a necklace, I'm good with that. I would feel okay with that as long as it's can be tucked away. You know what I mean?
The patches on the work uniform, I think, is way different than a necklace. Like, way different, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Uniforms are called uniforms for a reason. It's about uniformity. It's not about individualism. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and you're not meant to represent those things on a uniform.
Agreed. I agree 100%.
And it's you know, saying I hate people is also not religious symbolism.
Yeah.
That's just a statement.
What did I do with that document?
I'll be right back.
I don't know what I did with that other document. Hang on. Let me find that. Oops, sorry. Okay, so where we got here? Open. Okay. All right. LG and AW had no visible signs of a struggle or fight. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators located unknown fibers and unidentified hairs, which may later be used for comparison of similar fibers or hairs. Interesting. Logan owns numerous weapons, including handguns and knives that were observed by LEOs during the execution of the search warrant that took place at his home on March 6, 2017. Logan's home was searched as a result of a probation violation. The search was limited to the discovery of firearms and included only his main residence. On February 14th, at approximately 9:20 a.m., Logan contacted his cousin. Logan asked him to tell police that he came to Logan's home between 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. on February 13th to pick Logan up. Logan further told him to say that he drove Logan to an aquarium store in Lafayette, Indiana. Logan told him to say they returned home to Logan's house between 5 and 5:30. Interesting. On February 14, 2017, while requesting consent to search Logan's property, a law enforcement officer advised Logan that LEOs would not search his home unless evidence led LEOs to Logan's house. In that meeting, Logan told that law enforcement officer that he did not think evidence would lead him to that, but said, "I don't know." There was a receipt to the Aquarium World in Lafayette with a checkout time of 5:21, meaning that was much later. Much later. And that aquarium store, you guys, was 30 minutes is giving extra room, because when we looked it up, it said that it only took 20 minutes to get to that place. Meaning, if the crime happened around between 2 to 3 p.m., he would be able to be there. He would be able to be there for the crime between 2 to 3 p.m. or kidnapping if it happened, not at the time they believe, because they were found the next day. He could have then gone to the aquarium store, if we're creating a possible theory here that he could have been it. On March 7th, he was interviewed by law enforcement, told law enforcement that he was with Logan on Monday and that he drove him to the aquarium store. On March 9th, he was interviewed by another law enforcement regarding the trip to the aquarium, and he told them that he lied when he was interviewed earlier. He said that Logan's never asked him to lie in the past, so it was strange. Super strange. He said that he thought the photograph of the male that was released by the media of the man on the bridge looked like Logan. Also, these are people that were close to Ronald Logan, you guys. Multiple people had called in saying that it looked like Ronald Logan. Law enforcement learned that Logan had driven on February 13th to the transfer station in Delphi, Indiana to drop off trash. And this was never talked about. Video from the transfer station shows Logan driving his white Ford pickup truck between 11:27 and 11:23 a.m. The video from the transfer station appears to be off by 26 minutes, putting Logan at the transfer station from approximately 11:53 a.m. to 11:58 a.m. Logan did not ask Blank to provide an alibi for his drive to the transfer station on February 13th. Logan only asked him to provide an alibi for a trip that would have occurred at the time of the apparent abduction of the two girls. On March 8th, 2017, Blank was interviewed by law enforcement and met Logan about 7 or 8 years ago, was in a personal relationship with Logan for a couple months and would stay with him in his home on the weekends. Blank left Logan after became physically abusive. During her interview, she explained that Logan continued to stalk and harass her after the breakup. During their relationship, Logan had dragged her out of her car by her hair. She still fears Logan. She has not had contact with Logan in approximately 2 years. She told interviewers that Logan had told her in the past that he could kill her and no one would find her body. Ugh. During her March 8th interview, she said she knew that Logan carried a gun everywhere he went. She knew that Logan would carry a gun in a fanny pack. Hey, sentimental. One of
Joey.
his exes.
That's Joey.
This is super damning evidence.
Hi, Joey.
This is super damning evidence.
So, his girlfriend said that?
I don't think any patches get approved, Mike. Not for law enforcement.
And that was his girlfriend?
Yeah, his ex. His ex said that he always had a gun with him and he always carried his gun in a fanny pack. And there was a fanny pack on Bridge Guy. Exactly, you guys.
Thank you, C-Star, for sending that.
Look. Fanny pack. I'm telling you that Bridge Guy is him. I do not think that Bridge Guy is Richard Allen. Is Richard Allen part of this? I don't know, but I know he's not Bridge Guy. In my opinion.
I'm really curious if that is two voices in the video. Guys by one person, down the hill by another.
Yeah.
And could it be that when Libby was taking the video, like, could it be that
there's one person in front of them and one person behind them?
Yes. Also, could it be that they're filming that person? Because it doesn't look like that person's talking. I think that voice is coming from a different part in the video. And they just overlaid it on top of this. Because he's like 50 yards away from what
I know.
What they say.
Yeah.
So
that's why the video is so bad.
The video is really poor quality because he's really far away and they've zoomed it in a lot. And also the audio is not coming from this part. I believe it's coming from a little bit later in the video, which if he gets closer, the video is 43 seconds long. If he gets closer enough to be intimidating enough that they don't take off running to where he's saying, go down the hill and they listen, then can they not see his face? What? Because the whole video can't look like this. It literally can't.
Yeah. Remember, the video's 43 seconds long. 43 seconds long.
Right, Michael. The audio's from later in the video. We just don't get to see that part.
Yeah, and the boyfriend's sketchy dead is still, I think it's still possible, you guys. I really do. That's what's making this hard in this situation is, you know, you have the defense coming out and calling all of this a cult. But I think all of this could be labeled as a gang. I think that the defense is mistakenly calling it a cult because they all believe in Odin.
I agree with you.
So, because when you look up the Vinlanders, you guys, here, let me see. When you look up the Vinlanders, you get a lot of the same tattoos. This is considered a gang, and they all have Odinism type tattoos on them. Vinlanders. This is Odin's hammer, and this is the leader of the Vinlanders at one time, Eric the Butcher Fairburn, who is in jail for life.
Dude, C-Star, that interview is literally from 4 days ago. Okay, we gotta watch this. I'm gonna...
Okay, send it.
All right, there you go.
Okay. Hang on.
He's clearly not going to admit to anything, but we can pick apart what he does say.
Yeah, who is it?
Patrick Westfall is Brad Holder's friend. So Brad Holder is the dad of the boy who was hanging out with Abby.
And shout out to Sleuth Intuition, you guys, too. Always want to give credit to people.
Yep. And so this is his friend, Patrick Westfall, Brad Holder's friend, who was also mentioned in the memorandum as possibly being a part of all of this. And Brad Holder literally told his ex,
I get what you're saying. I do.
To stay away from him.
Yeah.
That she was going to get herself killed.
I think if I had to guess, like I said just a second ago, that the police, I think the defense is making a mistake calling it a cult when it is a gang. And I think that there is a major concern for Richard Allen's life here, based on what the defense believes. That's my guess.
Yeah, if they can provide an alternate theory that is plausible enough for the police to look into, that it causes reasonable doubt, and also like it could get the case dropped. Like that is a possibility if they find something real there. Like this guy can't be involved because it's actually these guys. Anything to, cause reasonable doubt or get it dropped.
Yeah.
So it does fall in their jobs.
Welcome.
Description.
Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Viahos. You can call me Sleuth. Just got off the phone with a Mr. Patrick. Speculation. Welcome. So I think that's what he's doing. They might be able to help him. Let us know. Him the opportunity. 4.5. I just cut all that out, and then once we dove right into the conversation, that's what
Just introductions. Just let it play.
Okay.
Welcome, Mal. Excuse me. Mal says, why does he go by Jaeger Tierson on his social media? He actually answers that question during the interview. So if you guys think I missed any questions, feel free to ask him. He's right there.
He's on the stream.
I think.
All right, here we go. Basically, I just edited out the beginning part where I called him and we kind of discussed how we wanted the call to go. It's going to be recorded. Are you okay with this, and that? I just cut all that out, and then once we dove right into the conversation, that's what you guys are hearing right at that point.
Interesting. He did.
So I
this
want to
with such
thank
like a smaller
Patrick for reaching out to me. Like I said, this is the first time I've met him. I'm not here to endorse him. I'm just basically giving him the opportunity. If he's going to be put on trial on social media, well, let's hear what he's got to say through a social media platform. What's up, Melinda? All right, here we go. Let's get started.
I don't know. I might have to wait till in the morning. But the beginning of all this shit went in September, the beginning of August, I was contacted. Asked if I would be more than happy to come in and talk with some state police and all the investigators. And, you know, I'm fucking all about it. Sure, man. Went in and talked to him for...
You should still be able to see it below.
3 hours, and then I turned around and went in the next week and went in and sat under a 4.5-hour polygraph, man. Like, this son of a bitch was asking me all these wild-ass questions, and I couldn't understand the purpose behind it. And it's like, man, you guys are asking some pretty off-the-wall questions from the first time that I spoke with the state police and the FBI back when all this stuff first happened is, you know, I got kids in the same classroom. My daughter was in the same grade as these girls. I have 4 kids, and I had them all by myself back then in Delphi.
Okay.
So naturally, they go around to all the parents' houses that had kids in the same school, kids in the same grade. You know, dozens and dozens of people they went and spoke to specifically on that act alone, just the school stuff. This time, they're going off the wall with shit. And I said, fine, I'll go in. You want DNA? Have some more. My DNA's been in a database since I went to my first tour in Iraq in 2006. So I don't give a shit. It's already been in there. So,
Thank you for your service, by the way.
I just can't understand. Yeah, man, it was fun until I get my ass knocked out. Forced me to medical retirement. Shit, I just got done submitting paperwork. Took all the physical, all the testing and everything. I was getting accepted to warrant officer flight school. I was actually going to get a fly Black Ops and shit. And then next thing you know, I'm getting strapped to the stretcher and I get my ass shit back to Fort Knox Hospital where I spent like 2.5, 3 months. And it sucked, man. It broke my heart, man. It took my uniform. That's the one thing I love most about myself, you know, is I don't agree with what we're doing over there. Don't get me wrong at all, man. After you get over there and they pull the veil back and you see the kind of bullshit they're using our military for, kind of unsettling in the stomach. But, you know, I don't get to choose what we do, where we go. That's a bunch of dirty-ass politicians and shit like that.
Well, if you want to use this opportunity now, I can go over some of the things during this phone call if you want to clear up just a handful of things.
Mike would know.
In the memorandum, they say
pause.
you're cutting ruins.
Why is that a lie, Michael? Can you explain, please?
Yeah, that would be helpful for people that are watching that don't know, or for audio listeners. Michael just said there's a lie. He didn't go to Knox.
Oh, that's crazy. There was a photo on Brad's Facebook that it said Westfall forever or Hail Westfall. That's weird.
Yeah.
It's definitely not up there now. I can tell you that.
To go participate in a sacrificial ritual. And then they have an image of you from Brad's And then you're like just cutting. Wouldn't you be doing that anyway if you're practicing Norse paganism? Isn't that something you would do?
Yeah, and I want to.
Michael said he would have went to Dick's or Sam Houston. Fort Knox isn't an active duty post anymore. Oh,
So when did it stop becoming active duty? Would it still have been an active duty post back when the Delphi murders happened? And it's 2017, right?
Yeah. We could look it up.
Maybe even prior to that. Is there a way we can look up how long he served? Is that
I don't know.
public anywhere?
I don't remember. He sounds like a bad first date. Yes, he does.
I want to start off one thing, if I can, real quick.
Since
There
2006,
is a son of a bitch
hasn't
out
been
there
active duty.
that fucks with Ossetru, that practices Ossetru.
Yeah, so no maybes
true
there.
to the Syrian god. There's 3 different levels.
Oh, did you hear that?
And you're like just cutting. Wouldn't you be doing that anyway if you're practicing Norse paganism? Isn't that something you would do?
Yeah, and I want to start off one thing, if I can, real quick. There isn't a son of a bitch out there that fucks with Ossetru, that practices Ossetru, which, true to the Assyrian god. There's 3 different levels of pantheon, I guess, in the faith. There's the Assyrian gods. The middle bracket is the Venerian gods. And then your lower bracket at the bottom is the Roker gods. So Ossetru just means true to the Assyrian gods. And you have another branch of this that is called Varnatru, which is people who are true to the Venerian gods. And then your Rokers, and those are your darkies. Those I don't mess with Roker Trus because I don't want to say it's the darker side, man, but Loki's the kin killer. He's the family destroyer. He's the trickster. I don't like people who hail Loki. I don't like people who, mess with the Roker Trus, it's Hela and Loki, and, it's not evil in a sense, but I just don't prefer those people. But people who mess with Ossetru, when you get your first hammer, where, a Christian wears a cross, a Jew wears a star, you normally would make it yourself. Your first set of runes, they encourage you to make yourself. We were having a kindred meeting, a family group that comes together that, you've all sat and vetted each other, you sat around and hung out with each other, and you get along, you got the same kind of personalities. Frit. The bond, common grounds, we call it Frit. When you get a good kindred going, you hang out once a month, once every couple of weeks, you eat, and you do your ceremonies, your symbols, and your bloats.
Is that the video that Brad Holder had?
What's that?
Well, they're saying that one of their exhibits is a ceremony that you and Brad were taking part in. Looks like a bunch of people got together from Facebook and we're doing, we're getting together and we're practicing.
Yeah, that was our kindred coming to meet at my house. The kindred was my kindred. It was called Gungnir's tribe. Gungnir is the name of Odin's spirit. Me and Brad were military. We were in Afghanistan together on my second tour, and they got and linked back up after I got out of the hospital years later. And we bumped into each
Gun Crater.
Gun Crater's Gun Crater.
A lot of little towns and counties still have traditions, rituals, celebrations from the 1800s into ayahuasca.
It's called
ayahuasca.
Gun Crater. It's called Gungnir. Odin's spear is Gungnir.
Oh yeah,
Gun Crater.
Gun Crater.
What?
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. I'm not anti any of this. If this is your religion or this is your belief, I mean, I'm all for it. it becomes a problem when it starts hurting people, you know?
Yeah, Violetta, that is true. However, I don't know that that's true with Asatru. Okay, I don't think that's true with Asatru, where it's like a community little town thing. Not really, because this is kind of newer. Like it really started hitting hard in the United States in the 90s. And I don't think there's whole towns that practice this in America. But the whole ayahuasca thing, I have seen that. It's really, that's cool. This, I don't know. I'm not sure. So Fort Knox Hospital doesn't exist now. It went down in 2010, was only a post hospital, not a trauma center.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to point out.
Yeah, he was saying Fort Knox. He was, J. Ray.
Yeah.
It could have been a caption issue, but you should rewind it a little. It did sound like he was saying gun crater, though. It did sound that way.
Yeah.
But
Where are we at?
We're at 11:49, yeah.
When you get a good kindred going, you know, you hang out once a month, once every couple weeks. You eat and you do your ceremonies, your sambos, and your bloats.
Is that the video that Brad Holder had?
It's called blot, not bloat.
Well, they're saying that one of their exhibits is a ceremony that you and Brad were taking part in. Looks like a bunch of people got together from Facebook and we're doing, we're getting together and we're practicing.
That was our kindred coming to meet at my house. The kindred was my kindred. It was called Gungnir's tribe. Gungnir is the name of Odin's spirit.
Gungnir. That's what you
Me and Brad were military. We were in Afghanistan together on my second tour. They got and linked back up after I got out of the hospital.
To be fair, he keeps saying all of these. He's not pronouncing any of it correctly. He said bloat instead of blot. The sacrifices they do, where they sacrifice like mead and alcohol to gods, that is blot, not bloat. He's not pronouncing any of it correctly, which is making it really hard for me to like understand what he's saying.
Hey, Scarlett.
Which I can't be too hard because I also pronounce a lot of things wrong. Yep, that's okay. Just listening's okay.
Yes.
Hopefully we're not, hopefully we're a little bit relaxing to listen to.
Not me.
Years later, we bumped into each other on social media, and then he started talking about how he went to practice officer because he was seeing me do it on my deployment.
Okay.
We just got done with all of our stuff, eating, ceremony. We went out and played at the park with all the kids and everything. You know, me and my old lady had 7 kids at the house, and he had his couple boys. It was time for kids' activities. And the kids had went out and collected their own branch. And then I was slicing it into discs for them, and then they were carving their own runes on those wooden discs.
Yeah, J-Ray.
Made their own leather bags and popped holes in them and sewed them up, made their own little bag to keep your runes in and everything. It was just a kid's activity.
And they also showed an image.
That was in that picture.
Well, they also talk about, they lied about this. They said, at the crime scene of Abby and Libby, they're about 4 feet off the ground. Somebody rubbed in something that looked like a rune in the shape of an F. But here in this image that I'm looking at, I took a screenshot of that video, and you're a pretty tall guy, and you're reaching up also. So you're way above 4 feet. And they're trying to say that's exactly what you were doing is very similar to the crime scene. What is it that you're doing on that tree?
I've watched all your videos. I've even watched your video on that, me at the tree.
Yeah.
The Pagan Pride Festival in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's what that place was. Same day, every year, same location. Shola or Shiloh for whatever park in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
It is
different. There was a big ensemble where everyone stands around in a circle.
It is different. Hey, have you guys seen the supposed leaked photo of the actual tree?
Pull it up.
I need to make sure that I still have it. I might have saved it on my phone.
Why don't you check your phone?
I will, but I'm going to check here first. Okay, hang on. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. It's supposedly the actual one. Oh, here it is. Hang on.
Oh, that looks nothing like the picture that's been going around. You can Google it.
Yeah, I'll just Google it. Okay.
I just put leaked photo of F on tree Delphi, and it popped right up.
Leaked picture of F Delphi.
Yeah, so basically in the memorandum, it described the bodies of the girls and the way they were left. And Libby was reaching up to a tree.
Actually,
and she had the branches on her. Then Abby's a little bit crooked to the side, and she's got the branches on her. But Libby's hand is touching the tree, and on this tree is an F supposedly painted in BLOOD. We got pictures of it that were just like, black dots, like it looked like splatter. That was supposedly like what was on the tree. Now this photo is coming out that supposedly is leaked. We don't know if it's real or not. It's not confirmed.
Nope.
But this looks nothing like that picture that was going around that was supposedly official.
Yeah.
Which who knows if that's real either. We really don't know.
I just used this one that Zav girl posted about because it has the runes underneath it, which is helpful. So if this is the actual photo, it does look more like this.
Yes, it even has the little extension at the top.
It
slants upward slightly.
Yeah, it does.
We have no idea though, guys, at all. None.
That's interesting. Look at all this on the side. They couldn't get like a handprint from this? This looks like a handprint, right? Look.
Yeah, peace and love. You should have taken a screenshot. Let me know if you find it. Send it to us in the email if you find it.
There's a bunch over here. Strange.
There could have been some splatter too.
Yeah. Yep. That does not look anything like
that one picture. Nope.
With the dots.
Here, pause for a second. I want to answer a couple comments. He is missaying them a lot. So this Dara Odin and Asatru site seems to focus upon polytheism, and the video on beginners to Odinism seems Scientology level religion. Now, one thing with Asatru is it's not supposed to have a bunch of rules. It's kind of up to you how you practice this religion. It's really just a base of these gods and the stories, like the folklore, and then it's really up to you how you practice. And like the runes are a really big thing because supposedly each one has a special power, and it's also an alphabet. But I agree with you. It does focus on polytheism in a lot of areas. And I think that's because there is no like Bible. There's no holy text. They just have the Eddas, which are like, it's a book of poems. And then there's the old and the new ones. And they only have like the legends. They don't have much to go off of. So I think they do kind of mimic other religions in certain ways.
Yeah.
But I think you're totally right. So I don't know what I just said, but I heard king, queen, pawn, and bishop. Fort Knox is active duty. They train. I used to live near there. Maybe they do boot camp, but I think Michael probably knows. He was in the military.
I think.
Still?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I didn't think he still was. The True Crime Design posted it too. It is real. The defense got in trouble today for leaking images from the crime scene. No way,
Wow.
HR. Gosh, you're on it. I'm gonna have to look that up now. No way. I mean, if they're leaking it, it's totally because they see disinformation being spread and they feel like honestly, everybody kept condemning them and like saying, why would you attach this memorandum to a Frank's motion? Which a Frank's motion is just to try to get the search warrant, gosh.
What?
I can't
get it thrown out?
Yes. I couldn't think of words.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to get it thrown out with a Frank's motion. So this is not standard to release a memorandum in this way with a Frank's motion. And everyone was like, why would they do this? Why would they do this? It's just to drum up speculation. It's just to get cause reasonable doubt before the trial. And I personally felt like they knew this was their only chance. I feel like they only would have done this if they felt like they had no other way to get the truth out there.
Yeah.
That is my personal opinion.
Indiana State Police reportedly investigating evidence leak in Delphi murder case.
Ooh.
An investigation by the Murder Sheet podcast, certain elements of which have been confirmed by Fox 59, indicates an alleged leak of sensitive crime scene evidence by Richard Allen's defense team that could derail the early 2024 trial of a man accused of killing 2 young girls in Delphi near 7 years ago. Now, you know what's really interesting, though, is if there is this leaking information, and that did look like an F, can they prove that Richard Allen had any connection to Asatruism or Odinism
or the Vinlanders?
Or the Vinlanders to have the knowledge to make an F?
Right.
Because, look, before any of this, I couldn't have even made an F because I didn't know about it.
Me either.
I had no idea.
Me either.
So this past Thursday, Special Judge Fran Gohl of Allen County issued an order for a hearing on October 19th in her Fort Wayne courtroom to discuss an upcoming hearing on October 31st, 2023, and other matters which have recently arisen. Those other matters most likely include the revelation that a handful of Delphi crime scene evidence items have been circulated among the social media community that has focused on the murders of Abby and Libby near the Manon High Bridge on February 13, 2017. It was just a year ago. Okay, so charged with those. Allen's attorney, Andrew Baldwin of Franklin, and Bradley Rossi of Logansport first earned the ire of Judge Gohl last December when, just weeks after their appointments, the team released a 3-page press release blasting the case against their client. In response, Judge Gohl issued a gag order on all parties, assuring that Allen's guilt or innocence would be debated in a Carroll County courtroom and not in the media. Then this past spring, an inadvertent leak of discovery evidence popped up on social media. Allen's attorneys took responsibility for the mistake, resulting in admonition from the court to be more carefully guard the state's discovery documents. September was marked by a flurry of defense filings claiming the state had withheld evidence and misled the original judge in seeking a search warrant for Allen's home while trotting out a theory that cultists could have committed the murders. Okay, so have centered around, okay, the murder. That tip led the podcasters to confirm the identities of persons associated with the leak information. One of those persons identified is reportedly a former professional associate of Baldwin's. Huh.
Baldwin's.
Yeah, one of the attorneys. In those messages, the Indiana participant writes, defense just got girls' phone records, and they are saying that there is stuff good for Rick. In another message from earlier this month, the Facebook author writes he is supposed to go to Franklin during the upcoming weekend and that he just wants a fair fight for the defense while blasting the prosecution. My guy, and he's going to be with Andy tonight. He's talking about me going down Saturday. There are also messages where the sender asks the recipient to protect me. In the release of evidentiary items, the two correspondents discuss how best to cover their tracks while referring presumably to an individual involved in the inadvertent leak of defense evidence last spring. Interesting.
So that means the images we saw going around before were fake.
Yep.
And those were supposed to be the more trustworthy ones. So what do
I
we
agree.
know? What do we know for real?
Cult versus gang changes everything.
It
And I
does.
think they're making a mistake calling it a cult, man.
I
I
agree.
think that when you look at a group, a criminal entity like Vinlanders, I think that they're more gang than cult.
Oh my gosh, Cynthia. I heard on another channel today that an associate of the defense team leaked the crime scene photos to the YouTube creators and has committed unaliving himself, leaving behind a wife and a child. So is that the guy they're talking about in that article? They didn't say that he unalived himself. What's his name? What's his name so we can look him up?
Just a Franklin previous associate. They did say previous that he's not with them anymore. Gosh, I have too many things open. Right here. Yep.
So they don't say his name at all?
They do not say his name.
Green and Kane told Fox that a Texas social media Delphi fellow contacted them. Okay.
Yeah. Strange.
The Indiana participant. Are you talking about Melissa Jade? Okay, so it was her live stream.
On this case, J. Ray? I mean, I just read in that document from the statement of the FBI lady that
She's talking about Idaho 4, I think.
Oh, okay.
She asked if she could bring up Idaho 4 for a second.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Look, she continued it.
Do you remember on New Year's Eve or the following day or two, someone came out saying that they used genealogy to track down the suspect through their cousin who was in a public database, but they said it was because the person left DNA in the sheath which was under Ethan. Yeah, so I think we just did a video talking a little bit about that and the sheath information, you guys. So you know how there's these storylines that are out there? So Howard Blum came out with details saying that the sheath went to Texas, and a whole bunch of people, anytime we brought that up, a whole bunch of people are like, no, that didn't happen because the PCA says this. Well, there seems to be some evidence that it did happen. And we kind of tracked down that line in one of our pre-recorded videos this week. And it feels similar to the cell phone records where in the PCA, it says that, gosh, what's the officer's name? Payne. It says that Payne created the cell phone records. Payne, with no experience,
right,
created the cell phone tracking records. And he did the DNA stuff
So
Super sus.
So far, I only have a first name, and it's Mark. Supposedly, this person's first name is Mark.
And he ended himself?
Supposedly.
God, that's strange, man. Yeah, J Ray, I'm not putting him down for it. I'm not an anti-Blummer. I know that a lot of people are right now, and a lot of people feel like Blum did something really bad, but I always come from the angle that people do what they believe is right. So I don't think that it's bad intentions. I think that he's coming from good faith. The one thing I disagree with Blum right now on is that he threw Steve under the bus. I think he could have let all that information out without saying Steve's name. All the information, like, dude, I feel like we're allowed to talk about anything in any way as long as it's respectful, you know? And so I think that he probably did get that information from somewhere, and there are a whole bunch of reports and professional attorneys talking about the Idaho 4 and how strong of a case the defense has against the prosecution, because the prosecution and the state couldn't find evidence on the sheath first. It's interesting. Oh, it was on Grizzly True Crime.
Okay. Thanks for the tip.
That is super interesting.
I saw the story of the unaliving of.
I'm not sure, J Ray.
Okay, let me look at her channel real quick.
Okay, so where is the interview? I need to close some of these.
Right. Would we have known anything about the IGG without Blum? Right, J Ray. I'm not anti him either.
No. A coin or a pistol?
What? Is that what he said?
That's what he just said.
Either a coin or a pistol? How can
I
you...
mean, I'll rewind it, but it... What?
Do you guys know what he's saying?
I don't think it's pistol.
No, a Bristol? Is that what he said?
I think. Bristol? Crystal. Got it.
Oh, a crystal.
on this and how you described the height of this blood wound, whatever it was on the tree, and you're like, oh, well, it was like 4.5, 5 feet tall somewhere in there. And I'm like, there ain't no fucking way. I was thinking in my head this whole time, there ain't no way somebody reached up.
Well, that's that Laffy Taffy,
Like
you know.
8.5, 9 foot.
They see this image, the same one I'm looking at, and they're stretching the truth to make it kind of fit their narrative. But they also said that I think her name was Amber. Is it Amber Holder?
Yeah. I know Brad was married. I know he was married at the end of our deployment. I'm not sure if Amber is the wife.
I'm not. Well, she's mentioned in the.
Or it was the new girl he started dating shortly after I told him to pack up and roll the hell out.
Yeah, apparently she took a lie detector test, and he told her that you were responsible for the murders. That's what they put in the memorandum.
Yeah, I didn't know she was taking a lie detector test. I know that she did make that statement. Something about she was asking about me, trying to find out information, and the guy of one of her girlfriends supposedly had a date with me or some shit.
Yeah, something weird. Like they were recording the call or something.
I've been trying to figure out if Amber is the one that Brad had his sons with, or if this was the new girl that he met through somebody else.
No, it's the new girl.
The new girl.
Yeah, the wife isn't mentioned at all.
Well, then I can't comment or speculate about Amber. I was under the assumption it was the first woman he was married to then, because I'm not trying to say this the wrong way or, stroke my own ego, but that woman was going around and she was fucking everybody that man knew behind his back. Even people that we were in Afghanistan with, like, just absolutely demasculated that dude.
That's awful.
He couldn't turn his back without her going and crashing somebody he knew. And he brought her to my house one time, and that broad was just staring at me like a goddamn double cheeseburger, bud. And I was just like, Brad, you don't need to bring her back over here, dude. I got old ladies here, families here. And I was thinking in my head, the reason that she was asking about me and Brad got all shit show sideways was he was trying to keep her from coming to my house and cheat on him with another one of his buddies. So he was giving her the whole, he's got powerful friends.
Yeah.
Stay away, ooh.
Well, she said something about a ritual.
Will grind your bones to making bread.
She said you guys, like, right around the time of the murders, there was a ritual that went wrong, and Brad said, I can't hang around with him. He's a dangerous guy. And it was right after, like, a ritual that had gone wrong. Like, it just doesn't seem even true.
No. When I told Brad to beat Brits, it was in my living room. Like, we didn't go deep out into the woods to do our ensembles and our bloats. We did this shit in my backyard, right there in Delphi, right by Canal Park. Just a couple blocks away from the courthouse, the downtown, if you want to call it downtown. Delphi is like 2 miles wide by 2 miles, dude. It's a rinky deep little Amish town, basically. We did this shit in my backyard. We weren't going out packing, 7 to 10 kids and a handful of adults out in some deep, remote wilderness scene with creeks and all this shit. Dude, it happened in my backyard. When I told Brad to beat Brits, it was in my living room in front of everybody. That's just the person I am. I'm not going to be all bashful and sidestep somebody and him all around. If there's a problem, I'm fucking bringing it up to the surface. We're going to take care of it right here, right now. If we can get past it, we get past it. If not, everybody go their own ways. And he picked up officer because of me. While he was going through his divorce with apparently the kid's mom that's not Amber, can't remember the broad's name, he was staying with his parents. Okay. His excuse is we had found out that he was going to church, Christian church, every weekend, and then he was coming to my house and playing True. And I'm not one of those half in, half out guys either. I'm serious about this lifestyle. I love True. That's who I am. It's who I've been for a long time. And I don't like the phony shit. And it's like, Brad, have you been going to church, dude? Well, yeah, I go to church every Sunday. I was like, well, you're coming over here and you're, in my house with me doing True, bud. You don't do both, man. You need to pick one or the other. You got to.
Dang, that's super judgmental. Like, why is it a big deal? He was just saying that he's not okay with somebody doing both, going to church and doing True.
Hey, Marietta. Nice to have you.
Yeah, welcome. So I just wonder, Ian.
Oh, Ian's back.
We
are watching an interview with Patrick Westfall, who was supposedly like best friends with Brad Holder, which is the father of Abby's supposed boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or guy she was hanging out with.
Yeah, I get it's because it's his religion, but religion's such a personal thing that it always makes me nervous, those people that are quick to judge everybody else, if that makes sense. Does it really make him not believe in Asatruism if he goes to a Christian church, like just goes there?
I cannot find anything anywhere about this guy supposedly unaliving himself. Dara, I saw you say it was on Google. If you can let me know your search terms or maybe send me the source on email, because I can't find it.
Maybe I could. Probably. More than likely, they aren't super reliable unless I have multiple towers, but I can check if there's a tower problem. However, I think it's a YouTube thing. People have been having issues all night. They were having issues on our premiere. They were having issues on the live all night.
Thank you, Dara.
Either be all in or you're all out. He's like, well, I guess I'm all out then. And that was the end of it. I said, well, grab anything you got in my house.
I don't think that's necessarily true. That they wouldn't like it if you went to a mosque or whatever. I don't think they would judge you.
If it's a good church.
Yeah, if it's a good church. But I'm sure there are people that would judge you. It always just makes me skeptical when I hear that.
Bro. He did it. He left the book bag there, and I don't even remember what happened to the damn thing, but he never came back for it. He refused to come and get any of this shit. And I asked him numerous times, come get your shit, man. I got your stuff in my house. I ain't going to sit there and have that on my conscience, or you call me a thief, so come get it. And then be on your merry way. He never would. He never would return a phone call, never talked to me again. But that's our falling out was. It wasn't a ceremony gone bad. He was out fucking playing Christian and True at the same time. I don't like that.
Who's Elvis?
I had to have my girlfriend get on Facebook, because I don't have it, and actually pull up a picture so I can see this dude.
So you have no connection with this guy?
Nobody that I ever met.
Wow.
Huh?
So you have no connection to this guy, Elvis?
Never met the guy. Never heard his name. I was finding out through readings and listening to you and a couple other people. I bumped into videos. This cat was down in Rushville, whatever.
Yeah, and
around that
I think it's
shit
YouTube
brick,
too.
Johnny Messer and his old lady was two off-the-wall humans, just absolute scummy sons of bitches.
I agree, C-Star.
Really?
I don't buy it either.
What the hell was that? Johnny Messer's old lady didn't like me and another acquaintance that we had in Indianapolis.
Johnny
we all
Messer,
sat down in a crack
another
barrel one time or
in the
something.
memorandum.
When the Vinlanders got together, the DSC, And we were
Did you
doing
not catch
something,
that?
eating it, and we look over and she starts pulling out these pill bottles.
Did you not catch that?
Did he just admit to being in the Vinlanders?
Yes.
Okay,
What
go
did
back.
we say?
Dude, what?
What did we say? This literally who suggested this?
It was, oh gosh.
I appreciate that.
It was C Star who sent it to me.
When the Vinlanders got together.
Yeah, thank you, C Star, for sending this. Shout outs to you.
I'm telling you, dude, we called that the crime was about the Vinlanders because of whose sticks is it? On whose body?
It's on Libby.
On Libby's. On Libby's body, it is a V and an L for Vinlanders.
Okay, go back. Let's hear this
Okay, so
again.
right.
Just go back like 10, 20 seconds. You go back so far.
That's 22 seconds.
Really?
Annie, what the hell was that name? Johnny met his old lady, didn't like me and another acquaintance that we had in Indianapolis because we all sat down at a Cracker Barrel one time or something. You know, when the Vinlanders got together, the VSC, and we were doing something, eating it, and we look over and she starts pulling out these.
Except it's not VFC or VC. The Vinlanders gang sign is this.
VL.
VL.
I thought he said VSC.
Pill bottles. And it's like, God damn, this bitch is about to have her pharmaceutical buffet right here at the table, dude. I guess whatever, each of their own, you know, as long as she, you know, doesn't embarrass me, whatever. Each of their own.
Pause. So another thing going around, you guys, which I have found.
It is funny because my horrible memory with names.
I have found some confirmation of this, and we can pull this up in a minute. It's about Johnny Messer. Supposedly, all of these people that are involved were also doing METH together.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yep.
Okay. Crystal together. All of them. And I do have some confirmation of this.
Yeah. I respect your opinion of that, but in order for that to be true, Marietta, he would have to have knowledge of that.
Right.
So he would,
which hasn't been proven yet, and his defense claimed in the memorandum, and they can't just lie. And so far, we've done nothing but confirm what they've said. By the way, with facts and proof.
just not cult.
Just not
It's
cult.
just not cult. It's gang.
It's a gang. Vinlanders is a gang, not a cult. They said there is no evidence of him knowing anything, being connected to Odinism or ThoughtRiotPodcast or anything to do with this religion. And they said they've went through all of his digital stuff, like computers, phones, all that. He would have had to have been connected to this in some way. Yeah, I did fall off my chair, Ian, if you want to clip that.
Pill bottles have bed bug venom, roly-polies.
What?
So I don't know. We've dug a lot into this. Marietta, I know you're new. If you check out some of our past videos and live streams where we've dug into this, we have found a lot.
Yeah,
we really have.
Watch this video here because I don't buy the cult thing.
No.
I'm not buying the cult thing. But we talk about it in here, how it's more than likely a gang. Now, none of what we talk about says that Richard Allen is innocent. I have no idea if he's innocent or guilty, but I do know there's a gang connection here. And the reason why is because there's enough in-depth gang knowledge that it's somebody that wouldn't be able to be like, oh, let me just Google this and figure out how I can connect somebody to this crime, you know. And maybe Richard Allen has some connection. I don't know. I just know that a lot of these guys are seen doing this gang sign, which the sticks on the bodies are a V and an L on the one that everyone has been trying to figure out, like, what rune is this? What rune is it? It's not a rune. It is a V and an L for Vinlanders.
So you guys, I thank you, Liz. And I think it was also Cynthia. Thanks for letting me know about Grizzly's video. She doesn't name a source. You're right. She doesn't name a source, and she also doesn't name the person that they're talking about unaliving themselves that leaked the photos. But I do know it's 3 people that were involved in leaking these photos, not just one. And also I found a name Mark. That's it. That's all I can find so far. I'm going to dig into it more. And we'll see what I can find. But supposedly his name could possibly be Mark, and he has a wife and a child. So I'm going to try looking into it. I can't find it on I literally can't find anything on mainstream media right now.
We should try and find the details around it, because an unaliving, like,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal, because if a gang is involved, that is notorious behavior. I don't want to jump headfirst into conspiracy and be like, oh my gosh, this is like what people say goes on in Hollywood, and you bring up the wrong information and all of a sudden you unalive yourself. You know what I mean? I do think that people could be worried about getting certain names out there, and maybe the defense does know it's a gang and they chose to label it a cult to bide their time for court to bring it up as a gang. I don't know. I don't know.
So yeah, I fell off the chair trying to plug something in. It didn't break. I don't think I could break this chair if I tried, to be honest. It's a heavy duty chair. But I was just trying to plug something in back here and I fell.
This is super interesting though. Hey, you should write down the time. So 22 minutes.
Okay.
Write down 22 minutes on this.
Yeah. It's exactly at 22.
I mean, it's like 22:10,
Okay.
but if you start at 22, you get it within the next 30 seconds.
Okay. I'm going to download this in case it gets taken off too.
What?
We knew it. We called it, man.
I'm telling you. It is the Vinlanders.
We called
If
it.
that's not confirmation, I don't know what is.
We-
He literally just confirmed he is a Vinlander.
It's funny because in that memorandum, they only mentioned Vinlanders one time. And that immediately I was like, I got to look into this. What does that mean? And I looked into
I'm
it.
sorry. Hang on, guys. Here.
But anyway, while we're going back and while we're going back,
Hold on. Let him hear it.
When we go to
Let him hear it.
hotels, I'll dump bed bugs next to the beds. We get it for free. Or I go to a restaurant and we'll dump bugs on our plate. You get the food for free. And I was like, are you fucking serious?
So what he's saying is that girl that pulled out the pill bottle that he was talking about,
Johnny Messer's girlfriend.
Johnny Messer's girlfriend, he thought she was about to have like her pharmaceutical buffet. There's bugs in it, and they're all sitting around a table together, him and the rest of the Vinlanders, and that's how she gets her food for free, is she will say there was a bug on it or in a hotel room, and they're freaking out about it here.
That's crazy.
Me and the other buddy, me and the other guy with the Vinlanders, we pulled Johnny to the side and took him outside. We're like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, you can't be doing that outside with us. That's not how we hold ourselves. That's not how we stand as Vinlanders. That is so just disgustingly dishonest.
He said to further verify he's a Vinlander, he says that is not how we hold ourselves as Vinlanders.
Yep.
We have called it from the beginning after reading that memorandum.
What's funny is we found the runes before we found confirmation of this. So like the rune, we can't be manipulating the runes in the V and the L because we found that first.
Yeah. So they only said that in the memorandum one time, and I have not seen any major media news source or really very many YouTubers dig into the Vinlanders specifically, and I cannot understand why. When they literally named the organization they were talking about in that memorandum, and you have all these people like, I don't know, is there really a cult? Just look up the Vinlanders and it's right there. It's all on the internet. Like it is all there. And you can say what you want about the source of that information about that site, but you can look it up on other sites too. It's all real. It's all there. And he just confirmed it.
Just dirty and just low of a human being that's supposed to
now, whether
pride
that's
in,
a crime or not, I don't know.
Some bit of
And the main belief behind the Vinlanders, you guys, is yes, they're a gang.
Yep.
They believe in Odin and they are racist.
They're a skinhead gang.
Yep.
truth about themselves. And then shortly later, we told him, don't ever bring her back around. And we told her at the same time, don't come back around. We don't need that shit. That's disgusting. And that's just
I was on the floor.
something lower than low. So she didn't like us at all from being there at the beginning. And then when we found out that they were running around Rushville spinning counterfeit 20s.
Oh, so they were con artists.
I drove my ass to,
They were con artists.
They're drug addicts.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that falls back to that Loki and shit, the trickster, the con artist, the kin killer, the brother killer. I don't like that.
Did he just say that?
He did he not just say kid and brother killer? What could you not hear, Regina?
The kid killer.
They were con artists.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that falls back to that Loki and shit, the trickster, the con artist, the kin killer, the brother killer.
The kin killer.
I don't like that.
Like
and I
family killer.
Is that what he said? Kin? Is it?
Kin.
Okay.
Picked up those kind of vibes off him. He's just a shady son of a bitch. And you don't know
That
until you
makes
hang
sense.
around with someone long enough to pick up on it. Sometimes you get it right away, but
He said kin. Yeah.
sometimes it takes time. That's why the probate process and the hang around process with the club back in the day was so long. We're going to find out everything about you. We're going to run a background check on you. We're going to vet you through a private detective. And we're going to watch you for a minimum of 1.5 to 2 years.
What?
Before, you are what we consider a brother.
So that's like a prospect.
And
So that's how you get
So they're
recruited.
clearly pretty organized. If they're using a private detective to vet people for over a year before you're considered a brother.
That's common for biker gangs. That is very common for biker gangs.
Good night, Dara.
Yeah, good night. Yeah, that's super common for biker gangs because remember, you get patched in 3 separate times. You get your bottom rocker, which is normally your vest, and then you get I think it's top. You get your top first, and then
Right, Mike.
Wait. No. It is bottom first. I'm sorry. It is bottom rocker first because that's your location. And then you get your center patch, and then you get your top patch, which is the gang name.
quick, I got in the car myself.
And it takes about a year.
I drove all the way down to Rushville. And on the way, I'm telling her, pack up all of his shit. I want anything that has club-related pictures on it, words on it, every single damn thing that he's gotten while he's been a hang around in a probate. And I said, I'm pulling his patch. I'm coming to get all the shit. And I did. That was the end of Johnny Metzer's time around me. But there never was a time there was an Elvis, Fields? Elvis Fields?
Yeah, Elvis Fields.
That dude never came around. We don't recruit. I know this report says, we go out and prey on handicapped people and these weak-minded,
handicapped
mongrels
people.
of society
Who's
that do
that?
our bidding and shit. Vinlanders don't recruit, bud. I'm going to make that clean and clear.
That's
You
not
come
true.
to the Vinlanders. We don't come
Yeah,
to
that
is
not true. That's not true at all. Maybe now it's true. Maybe since they have more people, that that are in the gang, but the whole gang was started from recruiting.
Yep.
It was started and ran out nationally from recruiting.
Exactly. And also, this is supposed to be clearing his name, yet he's literally just condemning himself as part of this organized gang, skinhead gang. Also, maybe Elvis Fields is the one that had knowledge of the crime scene that was not released to the public. He also was the one who said he spit on the bodies. Okay. So that is like a direct link, and he's supposed to be on here clearing himself. It would make sense to say, I don't know who that is. That's not him. I have it. Do you want me to? I'll send you these links real quick. Okay.
But dude, my patch has been retired for 4 or 5 plus years now, easy. But when I was in the club, people recruited, but
4 or 5 years ago, so around the time of the killings is when he retired his patch. Right after that,
yeah,
right after the killings, he retired his patch.
I mean, sounds kind of like it to me.
That's weird, you guys. Right? So Flora, then Delphi, then right after he retires his patch. When there's speculation about Brad Holder and him being involved. That's really sketchy.
you came to us. You show us you want to be part of the club, all that shit, and that was the end of it. There is no going out and recruiting. Every person I've ever known in the VSC, -1. We're talking dudes over 6 foot, 200 pounds, smart, educated, fearless, drug-free, pro-American. And yes, that is a requirement for the VSC, drug-free.
So where does all this racism talk come from? Is it a racist organization? I mean, nationalist?
Come on. They're literally skinheads. Come on.
That is so ridiculous. He's like, oh, not racist. We call it nationalist.
People that want to see, people that want to see Americans buying American-made shit,
coalition.
not
You're
bubbling
exactly
up all
right.
our grain and our oil and our agriculture and shipping the shit overseas for bottom dollar, then turning around and buying the same shit back from other countries at top dollar. We would love to see.
Patrick, there's no way he can sue, though. You're right. Most of your religion and society does not condone any of this. However, he is in a white supremacist gang, and he's lying.
He just confirmed that he's in it.
He confirmed it. He was in it, that he's not anymore, and he's lying about it.
He's saying it's the Vinlanders Social Club. VSC is what he's saying.
But yeah, that is what it's called. But he's lying and saying that they don't recruit, which is not true. It's a fact that they did. Whether Johnny Messer was actually a recruiter or not, like, we don't know that, but we do know that gang recruited.
Yeah, we do.
And
that's how it was created. It was actually began by a woman.
There's no way he can sue because nothing that the defense claimed was a lie. Nothing. So far, it's everything they've said so far that we've dug into has literally been true.
He just confirmed it.
And he confirmed it.
It was started by this woman right here, believe it or not, you guys.
But heathens, Asatruers, any of those people, just because they believe in that doesn't mean that they're anything a part of this.
No.
Separate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. These don't have to coexist simultaneously. So this is, I think, Elsa Christensen was a Danish proponent of the modern pagan new religious movement of heathenry. She established a heathen organization known as the Odinist Fellowship in the United States, where she lived for much of her life. A third positionist ideologue, she espoused the establishment of an anarcho-syndicalist society composed of racially Aryan communities. And this was the the preface essentially for the Vinlanders. You had to be white, and you were an Odinist.
Yes, Rumsey, we're live.
Yeah, hello. So here's a tip. So if we have this background, we're live. If we have the grass background, we are not.
Right. Yeah, they didn't really lie though. Now them calling it a cult, maybe that could be a problem. But that comes down to semantics, I guess. So I don't know that would have enough weight for him to genuinely be able to sue. Now, I think really the only issue that they could take is the semantics. It's the semantics. It's the wordplay that they used.
I thank Patrick for his service too, but I am disgusted by the fact that he is a part of Vinlanders. It is gross. It is disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's shameful. It's just disgusting, dude. The Vinlanders have been nothing but problems. And multiple people we highlighted in here that were part of the this is all based on the Vinlanders, you guys. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly suggest it. It literally says Vinlanders on his cheek right here.
And it says South Carolina because they were recruited. It was a skinhead gang that was recruited by the original Indiana gang where it started. Vinlanders started.
Yeah. I really wish Patrick would have been able to stay in the military. If he was in the military, I'm sure he would have done really good. There's a lot of people that need that kind of outline in their lives, and they succeed. They grasp onto it, hold on to it, and succeed. But when you get out and you join a gang, any of the biker gangs, and believe, like, I was not a great person. I hung out with a lot of those guys. I hurt people, not like physically, but like taking advantage of companies and things like that. There is a victim somewhere in that chain, but it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I feel like I have more of a say to be able to condemn people in that way because I used to do that. I feel like I have a good comparison on both sides of the court.
Not part of a skinhead gang though.
No.
Which platform is what at, Violetta?
And what's scary here is he's still talking about the Vinlanders with a pride, with a certain level of pride. Like, we wouldn't let someone in here like that would bring bugs to the table. No, you're just going to hang out on a curb as a girl walks by with her black boyfriend and shoot them dead.
Well, some that were in Arizona, some Vinlanders that were in Arizona. Patrick Westfall could have never known them. Okay, there's no necessary.
Don't justify it. If you associate yourself with a gang and your gang members are doing that, you did that. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
You're just as guilty. If you don't want to be associated with that type of behavior, get out of the gang, dude.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
They're all guilty. Every single one of them.
Also, so I think this is a good time, since he's talking about Johnny Messer, to pull up what I just sent you.
Okay.
Click on that.
Okay. There's a lot here. This one?
Yep. Share it. All right. So Johnny Messer go down.
Okay.
That is him right there in the hoodie with like the orange strings. Okay. He's like going bald. He's the top left. That is Johnny Messer. This is in Rushville, Indiana, which Patrick also was just talking about. Them, hanging around Rushville. Is there an Amy in there? Didn't he say his girlfriend's name was Amy? There isn't an Amy. Remember, he was just talking about counterfeit money, that they were using counterfeit money. Okay. So this talks about them trying to use counterfeit $100 bills at a McDonald's restaurant, November 2017. And December 2017,
Oh
and at
my
Village
gosh,
Pantry
dude.
Store.
Every criminal knows you don't ever fraudulent hundos.
Right.
Never, ever. That is the biggest mistake you can ever make, is to counterfeit $100 bills.
So is this also when he gets kicked out of the gang, is right after the killings, the same year? And then
50s
he's
are even
caught?
worse, actually. Hundreds and 50s you never counterfeit.
So go down. So they use this fake currency, and then a large amount of drugs and drug paraphernalia left in plain sight became the focal point of the investigation after they conducted a search warrant, okay, around 9 p.m. Saturday. Once inside, they found some counterfeit money, and then they found the drugs. They did a complete search of the home. They found amphetamines, okay, paraphernalia, and evidence that people in the home were involved in illegal distribution of narcotics, especially amphetamines. And they also found a gun.
Yeah.
It was very cluttered and unorganized home, and the paraphernalia was in reach of children.
Oof.
Including drugs, pills, razors, and several pipes.
Yeah.
2 people hid in a closet during the raid because they thought they were being robbed. And this is all the people. And here is
Johnny Ray Messer, 30, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, possession of controlled substance, possession of hypodermic syringe. Okay. Dealing meth. I don't know if I can say it on here. Possession of the same stuff, neglect of a dependent, and possession of paraphernalia. Man.
Oh, Cynthia.
Oh, hey. Awesome. We appreciate that. Big time.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish we had the crown made. We need to make a crown and get that uploaded. We appreciate that. We have so many new Thought Riot members in here. It is so awesome. And we appreciate all of you and hope you all enjoy it here as much as we enjoy having you here.
Okay, so here are the new members: Whitney Hare, Leslie, Monica, Beth, Whidbey. Welcome, you guys.
Yes, welcome, welcome, and much appreciated, Cynthia.
Yes, thank you so much. You're the best.
Yeah,
Neglect of a dependent. So is that his girlfriend at this time? Did he dump Amy?
Wait.
Visiting a common nuisance. Is that a charge?
Wait. Do you think that? So they kicked him out, right? Because he was messing with some shady people. And people have theorized if he was involved or been involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that he couldn't have tried to set them up?
What?
And it's not actually Vinlanders who did it. Is that a possible theory? He got kicked out, had some weird proclivities and doing these things or whatever, and staged the crime scene to make it seem like Vinlanders did it.
He did a really bad job then.
Or
they're a protected gang in this area.
Yeah, I think it could go either way. I really do.
You can't spell culture without Oxford Dictionary, a system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward a particular figure or object.
Yeah. That's the definition I was using. But the only thing that I've been thinking about is like when you have an actual gang, you guys, and
thanks, Cynthia. That's so nice of you.
And members of that gang, yes, thank you. That is awesome. And members of that gang all believe in the same God in the way that they do. What's more important, the gang or the God? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because do they only recruit people that believe in that God, or do you have to start believing in that God because you've joined the gang? You know what I mean? That matters, I feel like.
I think it matters too. That's a really good point.
Because here's the thing, you guys. This is what people are missing in all of this is whenever you're a gang, remember I use this example, okay? And this is perfect. So you remember I'll give you a quick rundown for the people that weren't here. Rant? A little bit. For those of you that weren't here during that time, I'll do the quick rundown, okay? So you know, I used to hang out with troublemakers when I was younger. Some of those were bikers. Hell's Angels started getting in a lot of trouble. They're one of the biggest drug dealers on the entire planet. And because they started getting in a lot of trouble, what they started doing was patching lawyers, doctors, regular people in society so that their patch was more broad, okay? So that police officers weren't driving around just looking for a patched motorcycle rider or whatever and pull them over. So with the Vinlanders, okay, one of the best things that you could do is lean into the religious beliefs of Odinism or Asatruism. So then when cops and law enforcement see you gathering, you're not gathering for a gang meeting. You are gathering for religious reasons.
Okay.
It's a super good cover. Whoever came up with that idea, it's a super good cover.
Yeah, it is.
Because as soon as you're associated with the new federal laws, as soon as you're associated and you have a bunch of gang members in one group meeting, literally the feds can come in and take all of you down just because you're meeting together in a group. But if you're meeting for a religious belief, they cannot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Are all gang initiations the same?
Yes, she probably was going to give you a shout out, Gia. I'm sorry.
Yes, I was about to. I was going to say I'm glad that, you know, we can help you in some way. Like, even though we're talking about
it looks like we're missing our teeth.
Really? No, I got teeth. So even though we're talking about like really hard,
it's probably
things,
the warm lighting.
We try to be positive, you know, we try to bring some fun just because, you know, we're talking about something rough, which we get it split where people either love it or people either think we're being disrespectful somehow because we're positive. Like, yeah. It's confusing to me. I don't understand it. Like, I think positivity could do the world a lot of good.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad anyway that we could, you know, bring some positivity in some way.
Yeah.
And entertain you so you can, you know, not think about what's hard right now. Cause I feel you. I had a dislocated knee and I was literally in bed for like 6 months. It was horrible.
Odin will find favor in us. Yes.
We're gathering for Odin.
You're right, Mike. More sophisticated gangs don't have initiations or they're extended in the way that the Vinlanders are extended. Like, look, I know I went on a little bit of a rant like 15 minutes ago talking trash on the Vinlanders. That's just because of how many people they've hurt. It's offensive, you know, and it doesn't need to be like that. But is their initiation keeping them safe? Yeah, probably. It's the same way that the bikers have done it for the last hundreds of years. And they are some of the most close-knit gangs, the hardest to break into. So hard, it takes undercover work that these agents are undercover for years in order to take these biker gangs down. So looking at it from a gang aspect, yeah, they're doing a good job as a gang. You know what I mean? But they're doing a good job as a gang, you know?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Odinism isn't known for harming kids. And I think that it's really important to draw the distinction between Odinism and the Vinlanders or whoever could have done this. There's a big difference between a skinhead gang that is taking a religion and turning it into their own and people who are actually practicing the old religion.
Yeah, no, exactly. We aren't putting down heathenism or Odinism. I totally and completely respect it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it whatsoever. I don't think if you believe that, we have a whole bunch of members that are believe in the heathenist ways or Odinism or whatever. Totally respectable. And I fight for people to be able to have those types of beliefs. I think they're important. But my issue just comes into play when you're going out of your way hurting people. And the Vinlanders have been proven to do that over and over and over and over again. And they lean on the importance of their white nationalism in order to be a part of the gang. You know, somebody find me a black Vinlander, find me a Hispanic Vinlander. You're not going to, because they are a racist organization. Even if they don't say, hey, we're not racist, we're nationalists. Okay.
And the founder of the Vinlanders literally went to jail for beating up a black guy because he said, hey, nice tattoos.
Not just beat him up. It was a way bigger situation.
They jumped him, and once he was down, they kept going hard.
Jumped him, and then somebody tried
everybody.
calling the police, and they said, put your phone down or I'm going to kill you, and put him in the hospital.
Right. And then you have Vinlanders who shot a white lady for walking with her boyfriend who was black. Like, so
no, I know, Gia. I wasn't offended at all. I'm the same way. If I don't get it out, it's gone.
So Rumsey asked, are all gang initiations the same? And no, they are not. But what are some common initiations for gangs?
It depends on what kind of gang you're talking about. So there are different levels of gangs, right? So you have like the mafias and the bigger south of the border gangs, you know, where a lot of times they are pulled in from other gangs. They don't have initiations similar to like what Mike was saying. Normally they're absorbed because they need that area. So where the drugs go, gangs follow. And normally there are smaller level gangs that start on the ground level. And those are your corner workers. And they're the ones that rep like 13th Street, 16th Street, 21st Street, you know what I mean? And they own this little street or whatever. As they grow, they start taking over more territory, and they will own a block. They will own multiple blocks and things like that. Now, those are street gangs. I'm just using the example from like LA-based street gangs, which are normally associated with a larger gang. So like you have Grape Street, which is I'm just using that because it's really well known. So Grape Street is a gang in itself that is associated with the Crips, and that is their national association. So normally it's like multi-faction associations, you know what I mean?
Okay, so what are some common initiations?
It depends on the gang. So for bikers, you have to earn your 3 patches, where you get your location first. The bottom rocker is the location, and then you earn your center patch, and the most important patch is the top patch, I believe. I forget if you get the center or the top first. I need to verify that, but you have to own it one after another. And I believe the gang name is the top one that you own. And that initiation could be any amount of putting it in work. It's just an overall commitment to the gang. Normally it is doing a lot of crime. It is being there for runs. It is cleaning up messes after the gang. Then you have the street level, which, yes, they do jump people in still. And sometimes it's not jumping in. Sometimes it's literally just a fight to see how big you are, you know. But yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Not really.
Jump-ins, an overall time commitment, and putting in work. Putting in work could be anything from murder to running drugs and guns to, like, you know.
Okay, there you go.
The death head is last. Okay, center is last. Thanks, Michael. I need to re-up on my education on that.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Well, Ian,
it goes location,
That's
gang
wild.
name, death head. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy, J Ray. Do you have some kind of condition that like makes that happen? Mine got dislocated because I hit my knee on a couch while walking out, and I just hit it just right, and I fell, and it was the most intense pain I've ever felt, to be honest. Like all my muscles in my leg were seizing around my dislocated kneecap.
Oh,
And I had to like
Mar-
go in a ambulance and everything.
Mara Salvatrucha is to unalive a mother?
Whoa.
That's scary, dude. Wow.
That's really terrible. That's really strange, J Ray. You popped it back in yourself? It only happened to me once, and they told me I had an 80% chance of dislocating it again. And it hasn't happened yet. But whoa, what did I do? Yeah, that's scary, Violetta.
It is, man.
That's like a cartel initiation.
Yeah, I think that is Colombia, right? Am I wrong? I don't know, actually.
Colombia.
Yeah, I think that's where that's from. I could be wrong, though.
Wow, Gia, that's intense. I hope your recovery is quick.
Oh, shoulders are the worst. And so many people have those injuries. And I've had a ton of injuries my whole life and a ton of surgeries, like double digits of surgeries. And shoulder was one of the worst. One of the worst.
Oh, yeah, you had surgery on your shoulder.
I've had tons of surgeries.
I've never had surgery.
I've had surgery on wrist. El Salvador. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you. I paused for a second before I said Colombia, if you noticed, and I felt like that wasn't right. So yeah. But yeah, wrists, shoulders, knees, back, face.
I mean, your whole face.
Yeah, my whole face. My whole face is fake, you guys.
So should we get back to the interview for a minute?
Yeah.
Or do we have other things we can look into?
How long is this?
We're not even halfway through. It's an hour and a half long.
We might have to follow up.
Yeah, I think it'd also be good to maybe just pull out some important clips to have ready for tomorrow too, like some timestamps. Because it's a lot to watch the whole thing. But we definitely suggest checking, this channel out. That's really cool that they got an interview with him.
It is cool.
It sounds like they did it with the intention of trying to clear his name because they don't believe he's involved.
In my opinion, that didn't happen.
No, in my opinion, that didn't happen either, which it left me just feeling more like there's that possibility. Now, we have no idea. Obviously, Richard Allen could still be guilty, but there's some definite red flags here. And I find it really interesting that when I originally saw this memorandum, I expected it to be just ridiculous and fake. I literally laughed when I saw it. He wouldn't even look at it. He's like, that is so fake. And then as I looked into it, I have literally been nonstop confirming everything that memorandum said. Everything I've looked into so far has been true, except it's not really a cult, it's a gang.
Yeah.
That's it. So
yeah, I'm super curious why the defense went with cult. No, my whole face isn't fake. I have 5 plates in it. And so I shattered all my bones underneath or in my face. And when I was taken to surgery, they did all the repair work through my mouth. So like, imagine, it's kind of gross. Imagine skinning, like pulling the skin away from bone. I don't know if that automatically happened from damage or what, but everything is done like through my mouth.
Oh yeah, Rumsey. Sure. Yeah. And I saw her also say something up here about in her town, like how they classify gangs. That's a good idea, Gia.
I don't think that FBI cleared him. And what's really strange when you read this document here, do I still have it pulled up?
Well, you know, my other question is Ron Logan was a really grumpy old man. Like, everybody knew he was kind of a jerk. Okay. Everybody that knew him was like, he's kind of a hole. You know what I mean? And he even was abusive to exes and stuff. So it makes me question, did they ever use his property? Like, was he involved with this
Right.
in any way? In any way. I want to know if he knew these people at all.
Agreed. Finding a connection to the gang or racism or anything
Any of
related
these
to
people?
it. Yeah. And look, 23. I guess we'll just pull out the hot topics in this. So an analysis of Logan's cell phone data revealed a text message sent from his phone at 7:56 p.m. on February 13th. Initial exam of this analysis indicates Logan's phone was likely outside of his residence and in proximity of where the bodies were. An analysis of Logan's cell phone data revealed text messages received by his phone at 10:16 on February 13th. Initial exam of analysis indicates Logan's phone was likely outside of his residence and in the proximity of where the bodies were.
Well, which means it's not exact. Like, he was just outside his home at the time. So that's all. It's not exact. It's not precise.
It was precise enough for them to tell that he was outside of his home. The only way that would make this a big deal is if I pull up the tower data and find out how many towers are there.
We need to do that.
Yeah, we do need
We
to
need
do
to
that.
do that.
We absolutely do.
Hey, Crime Sleuthin'.
Hey.
So here, pull up that video real quick. Let's play it one more time.
What?
And unless you want to read a little bit more from this first.
So hang on.
The video to show her the comparison.
So December 2016 was in a just more threats. So girlfriend threats showing he has violent tendencies.
Supposedly his girlfriend also said he had really odd taste in
fetishes.
Yeah. Like animals.
Yeah. Me and Mike were joking about that earlier because he had said fetish because it seemed like in our video, like we were afraid to say that. And I thought he was meaning something different, but he was like, no, the official term for that could be anything, and yeah. It's just normally people don't look at somebody's interest into something super strange, like illegal things like that and associate like a general fetish. It absolutely is that, but like it's criminal,
Yeah.
Okay, so video.
Share. Ron Logan is on the right, Bridge Guy is on the left. So we took a really, close-up look, and we noticed that he appears to have a knee injury.
Limping.
On both of them. Both
limping.
Are limping and seem like their knees have an issue on the left side. The shape of his shoulders, the shape of his body, and the left, we believe the person is wearing a fanny pack. And in that search warrant, the FBI alleged that Ron Logan had a fanny pack he would keep a gun in. And a lot of people have thought that Bridge Guy had a fanny pack on. And also one of the girls said something about a gun. And the audio from that we have heard is from a different part of the Bridge Guy video. He's not actually talking right there. That gets confused sometimes. But just the general shape of his body. And we also watched an image analysis that looked at the pixels, and they think that Bridge Guy is wearing that same hat Ron Logan is wearing right there.
Yep. So it literally has the same exact color and everything. The only difference is because this is such a bad video, most people thought this was that golf hat, you know?
Yeah, the walk, the body shape, all of it. It's question marks. So
The weight, the only thing that throws it off is the pants style is so different. These are so much more fitted and boot cut to be able to go over these, which you can see them bunched up right here. And these are a lot more loose.
Yep. So it's just suspect. We really feel like it's a possibility. It is Logan.
Yeah, I don't know how you can look at this and think that, hey, this is a young guy. What points you out? What makes it seem like it could be a young guy?
He has a history of domestic violence. Like, he had tons of weapons. Like, if the tree branches were really cut, it was only 1,400 feet from his house, the crime scene was, which we figured is a quarter of a mile, which is not very far. So if you needed to have access to power tools, his house is right there. He's got power tools. You know?
Yeah.
It's a bit odd. It's a bit odd.
I do.
It's Brendan's pretty sold on the shape of the body and the walk and all of that it is him.
Right.
But
exactly.
He used to break horses and apparently castrate animals without being nice about it and giving them something. Like, there's a lot of rumors about like really horrible things he would do.
Yeah.
And really like aggressive, like not up with the times, like in caring about people and animals. So
a curb. Yeah. Space stomp. Yeah. That's definitely not what happened to me. Mine's just an accident on a motorcycle.
And we were just questioning, is there any relation? Is there any connection to the Vinlanders and Ron Logan? Because that, to me, would sell it. I find it also really odd. There's two different witness accounts with two totally different descriptions. It makes me think more than one person was involved in this.
Yeah. Yeah, well, more than one person was seen here in this general area. And it's interesting with the cell phone records, with that evidence, and this FBI agent that has 2 decades under her belt saying, hey, this is somebody we need to look at, you know?
Yeah, like American History X. Exactly, Mike.
And what's interesting, too, that I don't think people highlight enough is that the same day that the crimes happen, he not only went to that fish store.
No, he didn't. He lied about that. He never went there. He was.
I thought it said he had a receipt.
No, he lied.
Well,
he had another person help him make a fake alibi.
Regardless, but it does talk about some kind of receipt in here way later and saying that he doesn't have an alibi for 3 hours because he went to the fish store at 5:30, not at 2 p.m. And then it says in here that they have confirmation that he went to a dump.
Oh.
Is what it says in here. Why you were
read it, yeah.
While you were
always
gone,
heard he lied. But maybe he just lied about the times.
Yeah, so hang on. Just found
and he went to a dump? That's super sketch.
So this is where he's asking him to lie. They returned home between 5 and 5:30. Evidence, Logan's house, a receipt from Aquarium World in Lafayette dated February 13th with a checkout time of 5:21 p.m. was found in Logan's home. Remember, he asked them to say he was home by 5 between 5 and 5:30. On March 6th, during a probation violation search, Logan's residence was approximately 22 miles from the store, which is approximately 20 to 30 minutes. When we looked it up, it was 20, and here it says 30. So during an interview with law enforcement, said that he picked up so-and-so around 3 p.m., went straight to, okay, so on March 7th, this is where he says he lied. He never went and picked Logan up. But Logan has a receipt for 5:30 or right before 5:30 p.m. And then he never asked him to lie before, which was strange. LEO learned that Logan had driven on February 13th to the transfer station in Delphi, Indiana to drop off trash. Video from the transfer station shows Logan driving his white Ford pickup between 11:27 and 11:23 a.m. The video from the transfer station appears to be off by 26 minutes, putting Logan at the transfer station approximately 11:53 to 11:58.
Oh, so that's not after.
That's before.
Yeah, that's before. There was also local people who said he would never walk on that bridge. So, it's really just question marks, you guys. And yeah, he had no driver's license. It was taken away from a DUI. So it is possible he lied to save himself from having a probation violation. That is totally possible.
Yeah.
But
I think this says a lot that he was a suspect when the FBI was involved.
yeah, they were just
That
hiding it.
matters.
Logan has bushy eyebrows too. That's super funny.
That is funny. Super funny.
There was multiple people that said that they thought it was Ron Logan in the bridge guy video early on. A girlfriend and that guy that he asked to lie for him.
Really?
Yeah. Which says quite a bit to me personally because I feel like when you know somebody, like especially somebody you dated.
Yeah.
Or were really close friends with, they're going to know your mannerisms like really well.
Yeah.
The way you walk, the shape of your body, like they're going to know those things pretty well. Yeah, I mean, there is that possibility too, Crime Sleuthin, that it could be BG, BH. And I agree. The fact that them dating is sketchy. And we just watched Westfall's interview, which we were watching before you got in here on this channel. They did an interview with him, Patrick Westfall. And, we dug into the Vinlanders. I don't know if you saw that video where it says the Odinist cult found. It's a gang. Vinlanders is a gang, not a cult. And he confirms he was a Vinlander and he retired his patch or got out or whatever, stopped working with the gang right after the murders. He said he retired it like 4 to 5 years ago. That was right after the murders. And this guy was really close friends with Brad Holder.
Yeah.
And they got into a fight and a falling out.
Yeah.
And supposedly it was over a ritual. He claims it had to do with a church or something, but
yeah.
All this interview did was give me more question marks and confirm that he was a Vinlander, because he literally says he was. And that Johnny Messer also was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. Wild.
No, Keegan Klein was not arrested for this crime. He was arrested for CP online.
Yeah, another one.
But this F that was released supposedly is real, you guys, the leaked photograph. And it does not look like what was being leaked before. That's also a big thing that we touched on. I think that's a pretty big deal. And I really want to confirm if this guy really unalived himself. The guy who helped leak Mark Robert. Is that his name? Okay, screenshot that now.
Okay.
Because it said his name was Mark. I'm so glad you pulled that up. It's true.
No way.
Mark Robert passed away October 12th, 2023 at the age of
Jeez.
65 in Clarkton, North Carolina at his residence.
Yeah, this post was deleted.
Wait, how did he do this though? How was he involved? Because it says he was an electrician and an outdoorsman and passionate about firearms.
I have no idea.
So was he just a guy that agreed to help the defense leak this so that hopefully it wouldn't be connected to them?
I have no clue.
And then literally right after he's gone, you guys, he unalives himself.
After he leaked it?
Yeah.
Interesting. But there's the F.
Wait, it says he passed away peacefully on his obituary.
Oh. I don't know.
Would they say peacefully just to be nice because it's an obituary, though? What do you guys think?
If he unalived? No, I can't tell because it was deleted.
What are the comments, though? 1 month ago? Oh, but it says, where are you getting 2 male voices? A month ago. So, and he passed away October 12th.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Oh, I need to post this like I never do. Hold on.
No, guys, it says peacefully, so maybe it's not true, or they're just saying that to be nice. I can't really find much else, to be honest. I'm gonna dig more into it.
Yeah, we're gonna check it out.
If you guys find anything at all, please email me, and we'll figure this out if it's true or it's a BS. You know, Grizzly True Crime, I like her. I think she vets well, but she didn't cite a source. She didn't say a name. She didn't put anything up.
It was on a short.
And it was a short.
Yeah.
Or he OD'd. Oh, good call, J Ray. Maybe.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That is the show tonight. We will be back here tomorrow with another good one. And we appreciate all of you. I feel like it was a good show tonight. And I hope that everybody walked away from this learning something. I think that Ron Logan's the guy, man. At least on the bridge. Now, doesn't make him guilty. I don't know. I have no clue. I think there's a whole bunch more holes in this story to be filled that we need before we can know one way or the other. So if you guys happen to find anything, let us know.
And no, we will not be unaliving ourselves. That would never happen, ever.
No,
literally never.
No.
Never.
Nope, not possible.
Oh, get some good sleep. You'll be all right, Gia.
We appreciate all of you.
Don't let any of this make you lose sleep. Please don't.
Yeah.
Wear the witch hat next time. I'll take it into consideration.
All right, guys. We will see you later.
Yep. Have a great night.
Bye, Crime Sleuthin'.
Hope you enjoy it. And good night, everybody. Good night,
Good
Crime
night,
Sleuthin'.
everybody. Good night, J. Ray and Mike.
Glad you could
Marietta,
join.
Gia,
Glad you could join
Ian,
late, Ian. Hope you had a good night.
Michael, Cynthia.
Good night, Cynthia.
See you later.
Bye.